Welcome back. We are here for 3 magnificent Chair League games, and the first one might be the best one yet. Mitchell, you with me, buddy?
I think so.
Cool.
Discord is giving me a weird thing, but as long as you can hear me, that's okay.
I can hear you loud and clear. So, like I was saying, this first match might be the best of the best. We have the first and second place teams from Division III, the only 2 undefeated teams left in Division III, and so one of these teams is going to take sole possession of first and will be in a good spot on their quest to get promoted to Division II.
I'm a little quiet, apparently.
Okay, we'll turn you up, or actually I suppose I have to turn you up, huh?
Yes. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Let's get Baby Cthulhu. Oh, it says you are turned up. Maybe you're all the way up.
Okay, good. Let's try my settings. Oh, I know what to do.
And now we also need to get, by we, I mean me, need to get the Observer. You got the Observer link I sent to you, right?
For the top drafter, yeah, and we'll do that sentence just now as a test for volume.
Okay, there you go. All right, let me, So we are getting close to draft here. Welcome everybody. Sorry we're a little scrambled. Team's still getting into the lobby here. Really looking forward to this game. Has everything you want. It should really be an excellent game. And then we have 2 other games scheduled to go after this. 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 is our schedule tonight. Our next game is a Division II game, and our final game of the evening is another Division III game. Should be fun. And our highlight of the night, or the week, Mitchell, will definitely be our Friday night cast.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited that we get a chance to do that.
You and me both, man. Jova pleasantly surprised me by promoting me up to Pro Division caster, which means I kind of can pick my games if they're available. And Friday, we have Team Blaze versus Brawls Deep, the last 2 undefeated teams in Chair League's Pro Division. And Brawls Deep has never lost a game in Chair League.
Wow, good for them.
So, should be
exciting.
A lot of fun. It's going to be a best of 3. Really going to be good times. I'm really excited about that. But back to this one. This is an excellent game to start off the week, though. Been looking forward to this one all day. Should be a lot of fun. Unstable has readied up, and just waiting for the real ultimate mosh pit or Trump to be ready to go.
Gotta love that name.
I know, man. It's a crack up. And we also have on both of these teams have casters too. Dengstrom is on Ultimate Mosh Pit. He's casted our games a couple of times. And if we do post-game interviews after this game, we ripped it off straight from him because it was his brilliant idea. So maybe we'll return the favor and get him to be on an interview so he can enjoy the fruits of his own labor.
The mentee has become the mentor.
That's
or
right.
Something like that.
And on the other side, of course, is Liquid is also a caster too. So lots of Chair League action tonight.
Our games are an hour apart now. Is that how that works?
Well, I just happen to schedule them that way.
Sure.
We can do them a half an hour apart, but if you do more of them back to back, you start running behind.
Yeah, I would imagine an hour apart's a much better way to schedule it.
Yeah. Why haven't I received any draft link yet? Okay, well let's rectify that and get him a draft link. He says I didn't send him one. I think I did. Let's find out.
There's been so much lobby chat. Who knows what other chats he's a part of?
That's all
Gets
right.
buried.
Ain't no thing. There we go. Now, and the other thing we get to look forward to, now you and I won't be able to enjoy this in game, of course, but our viewers will, is Jova released today the new handy-dandy updated Chair League overlay. So I will have to delete my team names off of my split broadcaster stream because they're not going to be needed anymore. Should look good. I saw it yesterday. Looks really good, actually. So that teams are always displayed. The caster doesn't have to worry about it. Looks really nice, actually.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah. Jova's doing some good stuff here. And big news today, while we have a few minutes to kill. Heroes Brawler, dude. How fun does that look?
Oh my god, I can't wait. I mean, that thing's just going to be insane.
I'm the kind of guy that doesn't go in the PTR. And I will be in the PTR next week because that looks a lot of fun.
I'm the guy who's always in the PTR and is definitely looking forward to getting in there a week ahead of time.
So now we are officially underway. As the away team, Unstable gets to choose the map. They have chosen Infernal Shrines. And now Trump is on the clock for their first ban. Sylvanas, an excellent first ban. She really enables those Punishers to push hard. We had an interesting game where the fastest we've ever won last week, Mitchell, 5 minutes and 34 seconds with Sylvanas on Infernal Shrines.
I believe it was the first and only Immortal in the entire game.
It was the first and only. We actually won the game before we had our level 10s. Murky is, of course, Zarya, and she's banned out for Unstable. Both Zarya and Malfurion still sitting at about a 60% win rate on hot slogs, so that's a good ban as well. Yes, and we have a new hero announcement coming this Thursday. I just want to know what they're holding back for BlizzCon, Mitchell. With all this cool stuff they're giving us, they have something under their hat they're not showing, man.
Yeah, they already have their game-changing hero kind of teased there.
They did.
But it's going to be really exciting to see what else they come out with. Because it can't just be the one hero that they announce, right? It has to be more than one.
But it's going to be one different one, like the Vikings or Cho'Gall. I'm predicting Zerg Overmind. That's what I want.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
So anyway, back to the game. Trump first selects Zool. So good on this map because he can double soak during the shrines. Get you a nice, good early game XP. A little bit harder to execute after the mount speed reduction, but still 100% viable.
Malfurion going to be the first pickup for Unstable. Not surprising at all. He's very overpowered right now.
Yep.
And in a in a situation like this, you definitely want to have as many of those heroes on your side as possible. Li Ming being the other pickup here. Surprising to see Li Ming on a battlefield like Infernal Shrines or a battlefield like Tomb of the Spider Queen, just because there's a lot of things to get in her way of those skill shots. But at the same time, she's just a great all-around hero. She is really good about putting out damage. She's really good at spacing as well, keeping people out of those shrines. So maybe they're trying to go for something like that.
And not only that, she has really great synergy with Malfurion. If he gets the increased radius on the roots, that's somebody locking in place for Li Ming. And every time he uses the mana battery on her, her cooldowns are going to be like a machine gun between the resets and the half cooldowns with Innervate on her. Malfurion and Li Ming have really nice synergy right now.
Ooh, Alarak being picked up by Trump right now. I really like that pick. It's not often you see him, but he's starting to come around in these competitive environments.
Yeah, the most recent round of changes they gave him, which was basically a series of small buffs, left him in a really good spot, I think. He's a high skill ceiling hero. It takes a really good player to use him well, but he's really good when he's played well.
Yeah, he's excellent. I just love his kit. I think he is one of the best designed assassins in the entire game. And that's saying something because I love Li Ming as well. Johanna is going to be the second pickup here for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit.
If with Night Takes Pawn baked into Johanna now, if you take Eternal Retaliation at 4 on this map in particular, she can span her Condemn on the shrines. So between Zool and Johanna, there's going to be a lot of wave clear pressure from Trump to Unstable.
They're really designing their comp so far around trying to get those shrines as fast as possible.
Now we have Unstable on the clock for their second ban. I would imagine they'll try to choke out a healer, I would guess. Maybe Brightwing with the globals, or there it is, Brightwing. My next guess was going to be Ariel, who's really, really good. And I would imagine Trump is going to try to choke out the tank, since they've already selected theirs. You don't see Arthas banned very much, but Arthas is really good on this map. His ultimate Syndragosa does kind of what Sylvanas does, which is accentuates the push from the Punisher. And the Frost presence around him helps clear out those little Shrine Guardians as well.
I'm surprised it's not maybe a Rhaegar ban or something like that, but Brightwing is just a really good healer all around, and she's been very popular as of late. And we're going to see Muradin here being banned out by the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They already have their tank. They kind of want to choke out Unstable, and they kind of want to see what else that they can come up with on that side.
Yeah, the tank ban doesn't surprise me. There were a number to pick from, but there's still a number of good tanks available for Unstable. Of course, ETC is still sitting out there. Arthas is very good on this map. Artanis more of an off tank, but he's good too on shrines as well. So a lot of different options available to them. Excellent pick. This is probably Kerrigan's best map, and she's just generally good. So that's a really nice pickup. I like that for Unstable.
Yeah, that Ravage build just goes to work on these shrines here. Kerrigan is a great pickup, and followed up by the Thrall. Okay, a double melee, double frontline here. That's a pretty powerful duo right there.
Yeah, and the reason I like the Thrall is he helps respond to that push pressure that Trump's going to push out. He's one of the better solo laners in the game, can hold a lane on his own. He's got respectable push and self-sustain, so it's good from that regard. But you're going to have a triple front line for Li Ming and Malfurion to hide behind, and you're going to have a triple front line with roots going out in front of them. So definitely a lot of pressure on Trump, especially with that Kael'thas pick. He's really not very mobile, so both sides going triple melee with the wizard on the back line.
Not surprised to see the KT pick up here. A little bit more punishing for melee teams than the Li Ming is. They know that, you know, Unstable's going to have to pick up another frontliner in the form of a tank, so why not get the KT to kind of get the living bomb value? You know, the other thing about Thrall that I really like on the side of Unstable too is his sustain is magnificent on those shrines. All of those little creeps that get in the way pretty much assure that he always has Frostwolf resilience targets through, you know, everything that the W will hit, everything that the Q, there's always going to be something there in the way. So I really like the Thrall pickup here as well.
We're definitely going to see a healer here. Ariel, possibly, but no cleanse is a little tough. The Lost Vikings, I imagine that is not accurate.
They definitely ran out of time there. Okay, so the Lost Vikings is going to be Uther.
Okay, there you go. That makes more sense. So Lost Vikings is Uther. And now Unstable on the clock. Thank you for checking the chat, because I would have had to press Alt-Tab a bunch of times.
No problem.
Now Unstable on the clock for their last pick. We're going to see a tank. I would imagine ETC or Arthas.
Tyrael. You know, there's nothing better for your front line than a Tyrael. There's just, he can do so much with a strong front line like they've got on the side of Unstable. If Kerrigan goes a Ravage build, gets the healing and the mana back on her Q every time she goes in, she's going to get constant shields at the same time from the Tyrael, even move speed from Tyrael as well. Thrall, the same. He's got major sustain. He's going to be getting shields. He's going to be getting extra movement speed because he already has some built in. So, you know, I really, really like that Tyrael pickup here.
And no pressure, but we got the boss man in the lobby here. Hey, Jova, how you doing? So this should be a lot of fun. These two undefeated Division III teams. We're going to add in Jova's fancy overlay that he just gave us right here, because I haven't done it yet. So let's, oops, that's not what we want to do. Just kidding. Dun, dun, dun. Apologize for the kind of behind the scenes stuff you guys are going to see here as I click away. Oops, that is not what I wanted. Come on now. Sorry, my computer here, not so much with the cooperating right now. Okay, here we go.
You know, the other thing I really like about the Tyrael as well is he's got that retaliation, I believe it's called, on reciprocation at 7, which turns his shield into a little exploding effect after the timer has worn off, which is really, really, really good for the shrines.
Absolutely. And now our overlay is set, so all of Jova's hard work can pay off in cast here. We have 10 players ready to go, and we are going to get this game started. This should be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to this game. one, if not both of these teams, will be in Division II next season. So they're both having great years, and both of these teams have been around for a little while too. Division III, Trump last year was 7-5. Unstable Division III last year was 6-5. Also 3-5 in Season 1. So you can see their progression. You know, going from just above a 500 team to just such a strong start here to Season 3. Yeah, it's a little small, Jova, but I think it's okay. Looks okay. Could be better. We'll see if I can adjust the settings on my end to make it look like it's how it's designed to. I think Infernal Shrines is one of my favorite maps to cast on. Just because there's so many different strategies you can pursue on there. You can do the split soak with the Zool or Kerrigan on there. Which one of these teams do you think Mitchell's going to have the advantage in converting these shrines into Punishers?
You know, the one other thing about this map is that it's a very active map. There's lots of camps. The shrines pop up pretty frequently. There's lots of things happening all over the place all the time. In terms of these two teams, I think that the easier burden of execution is going to be on the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Just in terms of all they need is a level lead. All of those characters are designed to gank. They are designed to take advantage of that level lead that Zool can hopefully get them in that first and hopefully second shrine phase. If they can't get that level lead and hold on to that level lead, this game should probably start to slide on the side of Unstable. They've got just a fantastic shrine team. I really do think that they build a little bit better towards 10 or so on the side of Unstable. So we're just going to have to see if the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit can really take that level lead and get one in the first place. Take it and roll with it.
The one advantage I think Unstable has is Kerrigan, because all they need to do is zone out those shrines, and she can single-handedly capture those shrines.
Absolutely. So, between the Malfurion and the Tyrael, that is enough to support Kerrigan to leave her alone. The roots from both Malfurion and Thrall set up the Ling Ming super well for all of her combos. I mean, again, if they get behind on level, that's the only time that they're really going to have a hard time, I think, trying to get these shrines.
Well, in the early Mount Synergy game, Unstable takes the early lead. We have Liquid on Tyrael, Mystic Shroud on Malfurion, Super Dive on Li Ming, Kurubthian on Thrall, and Shiz on Kerrigan.
And on the side of Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, we're going to have Dankstrom on Johanna, Minra on Uther, Ralph the Dog on Zool, Judge Bread on Kale Thos, and Pitom on Alarak.
And shout out to Jason for the host. Appreciate it. I always like it when us fellow Chairly casters stick together, so it is noticed. And we have our little 5-on-5 esports skirmish here in the middle. Zool taking a lot of damage. Kerrigan combo going down with a triple silence. Kerrigan and Tyrael both on the run, Living Bomb spreading, and we have a pause from Liquid. Hopefully nothing too bad. Shiz is apparently lagging hard and down to 52 hit points, so...
Maybe that's why he's down to 52 hit points in the first place.
It certainly is not going to help.
It's always good to see teams repartee with each other.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're all in here to have a good time. We're casting, to have a good time. They're playing. It's good times. So, looks like we're about ready for the restart here. And here's the countdown, and both teams, I imagine, are going to break away from each other, with Shiz and Liquid in particular being very low on health and going to have to go back. Trump definitely got the edge in that early skirmish.
Yeah, they used that KT heavy stun to really do some damage on Sable. Okay, 4 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit are gonna, 3 members are gonna be rotating with Azul here, bottom and mid most likely, and Unstable is gonna take the opposite route. They're gonna counter-rotate to clean up the lanes that they leave behind.
Yeah, this is pretty typical for competitive play. You're going to see the solo laners going at it in the top, and that's Johanna versus Thrall, and then the other teams are going into 4-man rotation. The team with the Zul and the Kael'thas will slowly win this rotation.
Usually, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to see a little bit of a difference here. We're going to see 3 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit.
Let's go ahead and flash up there. Johanna's a tough character to pick, but this might be enough.
She was really far out there, and
nope.
you know, the Unstable's going to be able to
29 hit points. Johanna is so hard to gank, and that's a big, big deal because those heroes were all out of lane for rotation.
Absolutely. They got rid of that counter soak from Zul that they had. Now, they didn't lose too much XP, but it looks like Li Ming is going to get ganked here. If she can get... Nope, she cannot get to the fountain fast enough. Unstable, going to be the first to this shrine. Most likely, Zul's going to be left here as we're going to see the other members of Real Ultimate Mosh Pit rotate up to this shrine. Alarak looks like he's staged to clean up and now he's rotating down.
Yeah, it looks like Trump right now just trying to stall with Johanna because she can do that. Now, they are not opting... Oh, yeah, there he is. Zul is double soaking. He's bouncing from mid lane to bot. But despite that, right now, Trump is controlling the shrine. You have a silence into a double Kerrigan combo, and she goes down anyway.
The stun from the KT, the stun from the Johanna was just enough to keep her there for Alarak to finish her off.
And now, you know, you think Unstable may have to concede this, but the death timers are so low, Kerrigan might get here in time to contribute.
They're just about equal on these creeps here as well, so it's going to be a hard thing for them to do to just let it go. But as you can see, the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit is already establishing their level lead, and it's only going to get higher from here.
Yeah, Azul is definitely giving them the level lead, and that's why it is so important for Unstable to win this shrine. If they lose it, it's really going to put them at a disadvantage.
Seeing a lot of hope from these two teams here.
Yeah, both teams went in there hard. Actually, you even saw Zul came up at the last minute to try to secure it for Trump, but they weren't able to. But they do have about a 3/4 level lead. Johanna rotates to the top, and you're going to leave 4 members here. Alarak is going to catch the Punisher over the wall, and it's still pursuing him. He'll be okay. They bait the Punisher over the wall. They'll burn it down pretty quickly, and it looks like Unstable may just get a single front wall out of this.
That's going to be enough to get them on the same level as the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. I mean, they knew that they had to give up that first shrine, but I think that they maybe wanted to be a little bit more ahead than they are now.
But you know what? They didn't even get a full wall out of it, and Zul has completely drained the tower ammo in this mid lane and took out the wall in the bot lane. So structurally, that was a win for Trump.
Absolutely. I mean, not only the soak is a big advantage right there, but the advantage there is the walls. The next time that the Punisher comes up, it's going to be able to move past that, and it's going to give Unstable a really awkward place to try to catch one of those.
Tyrael caught out with the Alarak telekinesis and the Uther stun, not quite enough to finish the job, as Tyrael's a pretty squirrely character.
Yeah, he's pretty tough to take down. Not as tough as Johanna, but pretty tough.
Yeah, and Tyrael definitely does it in a different way. He uses shields and teleporting and movement speed, and Johanna just walks.
Okay, first siege camp here being picked up on the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. That's going to push mid here. And they're still, those 3 members that were in the beginning are still going to try to rotate with this Zul to get good double soak and possibly even some ganks off of the stuns and the roots. And
Tyrael may be in trouble. Nice telekinesis from Trump. There's the stun and the bone prism and another stun from KT. Tyrael will go down. I will say Trump has had a little bit more attention to their soak, because even though it was pretty level after the Punisher died, you can see they pulled ahead by about a half level with their just a little bit better attention to detail in the soaking department.
Those ganks surely help as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now we have a top Punisher. We have Trump making their way up there as a 3, trying to get a little level. level lead. They know there's no rush to get up there, and they're actually going to have to clear the top mercs when they get up there anyway. So this will allow Unstable to get a little bit of a head start on the Shrine.
We're going to see all 5 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit rotate up here. Leeming is going to be just a little bit late, but so is the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Johanna had the tap. So now we might see an actual full 5-on-5 here for the first time in the game.
You know, with so many melee characters, once Unstable hits 10 with Sanctification, the dynamic of these team fights is going to change completely.
Absolutely. It's going to be tough to get there, though, if they have to concentrate on those shrines. They don't have an extra person to go soak like the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit does.
Yeah, and not only that is, if Alarak can time his silences for when that Sanctification would be appropriate, that could definitely be a factor as well.
Both of these teams here just kind of feeling each other out, really poking each other out, not using too many big cooldowns, just trying to get as many of these creeps as possible. The Shrine's going to start to tilt to the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit real fast, and Unstable is just going to say, that's okay, let's go try to get 10 so that we can defend this Punisher that much better and not try to lose too many more people.
I want to highlight Denkstrom on Johanna there. That's what she does so well at this map. She was basically just walking to zone with the Condemn, and her survivability almost single-handedly zoned out Unstable at one point. She's so good at doing that.
Yeah, that was a great awareness by him trying to keep out people so that they could try to get that Shrine as fast as possible.
Hey Kix, welcome to the stream. I'll be watching you guys later, so good luck in your game tonight. We have ultis out for Trump. We have Phoenix, as already seen on Kael'thas, Poison Nova from Zool, Divine Storm from Uther, Blessed Shield from Johanna, and Deadly Charge from Alarak. There's the Sanctification from Tyrael. KT barely caught in the Kerrigan combo. This is kind of a fighting retreat on the side of Trump. They already lost Uther. Kael'thas will barely get away. Johanna is doing what Johanna does and just walking through the other team, no problem whatsoever.
Those Roots did a really good job of getting that Uther pick off, but as you said, Johanna can pretty much just walk out of anything.
Except for, of course, in our game yesterday. That was too many Roots even for Johanna to walk out of.
Yeah, that was a little harsh.
So both teams kind of settling into the phase between the Shrines. Looks like we may have a little skirmish here mid. Johanna there to clear lanes, and almost all of Unstable is there. Denkstrom is simply backing up. His team just captured the top Bruiser camp.
And we still see Zool trying to rotate these lanes as much as possible, trying to get some soak, trying to get a level lead for the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. You know, they are just that little bit half level ahead, but because they're not 1 to 1.5 levels ahead, they are going to have a really hard time keeping up their game plan here unless they can figure something out, like getting more ganks.
Not only do we have the boss here, but we have Halloran here. He just couldn't stay away from Chair League in his week off. Welcome, Halloran. And yeah, that's a good observation. I think you're right. Uther sacrificed himself to give his team ghost healing in that fighting retreat in the top lane. Excellent pick by Trump. Thrall stuck his head out a little further than was safe and paid the price there.
That's exactly what they want. They want these out of position things that they can punish. They've got a lot of displacement, a lot of stuns, a lot of CC on the side of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and they can use that to their advantage to get these level leads instead of having to soak. But of course, we're going to see Johanna trying to soak down here. The bottom lane clear out Mercs. Zool's going to join her to try and get that talent tier lead so that they can take over not only the Shrine, but the fights from here on out in the game.
You know, that death on Thrall could not have been timed worse, but now he is up and they are trying to invade the Shrine here, and I think they're going to be a little bit too late. 36, 39, there's the Shrine, and once again, Unstable is going to have to back off, and it is probably the most difficult Punisher to deal with, and that's the Arcane Punisher.
Both Zool and Thrall, respectively, are going to split off here and try to soak lanes. For the side of Unstable, Thrall is going to try to get probably 13, and Zool is just going to try to keep up that level lead. He's hopefully going to be able to push here in the mid while the Punisher is rotating on the bottom, see what they can do. Now, Tyrael steps out, gets silenced, he's able to get away. That was a great move by Tyrael.
Absolutely. And, you know, if Thrall doesn't respond to that middle lane, they may get Unstable's last level 1 fortification there with Zool by himself.
It seems most likely, no, he's going to rotate around and actually try to help his team get picks here. Material's going to be the first in there. He's going to go down.
Nice job of splitting up by Trump, so only one person was caught in Material Ghost Bomb. And not too much mileage out of the silence from Malfurion there.
You know, that wall may not seem like much for now, but that is something that Trump is going to be able to take advantage of when these Sheets camps respawn. Now they're rotating around on the mid, trying to get this last level 1 fortification down as well. Johanna doing a great job of sending everybody out. Thrall's going to go in there. He's going to get caught by the stun, and by the Alarak.
That was really good team focus fire from Trump. Everybody used their crowd control in perfect timing. There was no overlap. Nobody rushed it. And Thrall, who's not the easiest character to do that to, he's, you know, not a squishy, got blown up pretty quick. And now they're looking for an invade on the Merc camp here. Liquid and Shiz need to get out of here. They're in a terrible spot. Johanna is just a giant body in that corridor, just stood there and would not let them get away.
That was an amazing invade on the side of Trump. They knew that that was probably the last, that was the last camp that was up at the moment. They were probably going to go there knowing that they had to retreat, and hey, let's get in there, 2-level lead, get some advantage, let's kill them, and get an even further level lead. And this is where you're going to start to see the real Ultimate Mosh Pit really pull out far ahead on the side of Unstable. They're going to push out these lanes, try to give Unstable a lot of things to deal with here. And it looks like all 5 members are trying to come up here. The Ruthless on Thrall, he's going to get past the wall, not going to be able to get a pick on him again.
You know, I'm going to highlight Dengstrom one more time because Tanks get no love. He is doing such a great job on the Johanna. And Johanna is just so hard to kill when you're even in level. When you're up 2 to 3 levels like they are here, she is borderline impossible to take down. And Dengstrom is just putting himself in positions to where the other team can't ignore him, to where they have to use abilities and damage on him, and it's just not doing anything.
He is so smart about spacing out for the rest of his team, and at the same time, the real Ultimate Mosh Pit must have the ultimate faith in Dengstrom, his spacing ability, being able to get those ganks and be okay with not having their tank, right in front of them, right there to soak up a lot of damage. So that's really good for them as well. Great team synergy on the side of the real Ultimate Mosh Pit.
You know, I casted and watched Trump play a couple times last season. They have improved so much. Their gameplay has been really, really impressive. Really nice team synergy. They're comboing their crowd control really, really nicely. A very impressive game against a really good team on the other side. And, it's not like Unstable is playing poorly. They're playing well, too. It's just Trump is playing just a little bit better, and they've played just a little bit better the whole game, and it's turned into a 2-level lead and control of the game.
It's the difference between what we talk about all the time. It's the difference between playing an active game and a reactionary game. Either you are the team who is setting up most of the things to be dealt with, or you are the team dealing with everything that needs to be dealt with. And Trump is definitely setting everything up. Absolutely.
They are controlling the map completely. Unstable is the team that's responding to everything that they're doing, and it's a great lead here. They have all of the level 1 fortifications from Unstable down, although just the silver lining for Unstable. They haven't lost a keep yet, so that's really when the game starts to go south, is when you start losing keeps. Good decision by Trump here. They got the Merc camp, and now Unstable is going to have to respond to the Merc camp. They're trying to set up here for an invade. Material goes in there. The Sanctification is a little bit early. That basically got no value, but that was a really good sundering into the Kerrigan combo, and Kerrigan is going to go down anyway, and an excellent mouth silence. Material is going to ghost bomb somebody. That was an absolute bloodbath, but in the end, all 5 members of Unstable just exploded. And that was absolutely a result of the level lead.
I completely agree. It may have been a little bit on the side of the mistimed ultimates there as well. That Sanctification going off early could have done a lot of work there. Both of those teams were clumped up together, so I'm not sure what happened there. The real Ultimate Mosh Pit's going to say, you know what, we need an extra wall for this camp that we got to push onto this keep to keep the Unstable off of the shrine that much longer so that they can try and secure the Punisher.
Really good decision making and shot calling from Trump there, and I think the absolute key factor, other than the level in that team fight, was that sanctification got 0 value. If Tyrael would have held it to when both teams were clumped up and fighting each other, it could have been an absolute turning point.
Yeah, that could have been a much different fight and a much different game for Unstable.
Look at, there goes Dankstrom in again, just charging in, full W, keeping his team alive. That was a really nice engagement, re-engagement by Unstable, and they almost got a couple kills for it, but they're not going to win this. Trump only needs 2 more Shrine Guardians to secure this.
And there's still the 3-level lead difference that Unstable's got to deal with. As much as they want to get this Punisher, they're going to have to really think about what their next move is here.
Now that was nice little 2-man synergy there between Tyrael and Kerrigan, but there's just not enough damage. And who's in the middle of that again? It's Johanna. Johanna in the middle of that.
Doing what Johanna does
best. They just can't bring Johanna down.
You know, with the level lead, there's just almost nothing that they can do unless all 5 members give their all for the Johanna, and at that point, what have you got left for the rest of the fight?
Yeah, you know, that's the disadvantage to playing a heavy melee team, is when you fall down in level, it's really, really hard to fight when you're down in level, multiple levels.
Unfortunately, Malfurion's going to try to catch the Punisher here to bring him off of the floor. All 5 members of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit look like they're going to concentrate on this floor as much as possible. This should be game right here. Yeah,
I think this is game. Really an absolute clinic put on by the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. A couple of small mistakes by Unstable just let a flawless game get away from them. Trump played and executed really, really well. Let's see if we can get Danks on here for an interview. That was a fun game. I mean, so impressive by Trump.
Yeah, that was really, it was close at first. Once the small level lead started to increase, that game started to slide over to the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit really fast. The Zool, the Johanna, the KT, the Alarak play was really, really great as well. I mean, they have great team synergy on their side. They have great comp synergy as well. And they were able to use that Zool to great effectiveness that the Unstable just wasn't able to turn around at all.
Dankstrom is going to be joining us here in a minute. We're going to give him a taste of his own medicine. The captain of Trump, coming off an impressive victory, giving his team to 5-0.
Hello.
Hey, Dankstrom, how are you doing, good sir?
Doing good. Thanks for doing the casting tonight.
Well, we decided we were going to give you a taste of your own medicine and get you on a post-game interview.
Sweet. It'll be my first one. I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be, because they're a lot of fun. I keep stealing the idea from you. It's really great. We're going to have Liquid on afterwards to get their side of it. We were both saying there's a lot of build-up from those of us who follow Chair League. 2 4-0 undefeated Division III teams at the top. You guys looked so good. Did you get what you wanted out of the draft? How did that go from your end?
And we didn't quite get exactly what we wanted, but we just adapted to what they drafted against. You know, initially we wanted the Malfurion. The bans didn't quite go the way we were expecting, so we went with Zool, which is just incredibly strong on that, and just built kind of around that concept. So, I mean, he can split push, he soaks, good on the shrine itself eventually, so we liked it. And the Kerrigan into the Zool is a good matchup too, so I was happy when they picked the Kerrigan.
Yeah, this is Kerrigan's best map, but, you know, both teams went with a triple melee and kind of a mage behind it, and once you guys got a heavy lead like that in levels, it's so hard to engage with a melee-heavy team.
Yeah, they have one really good engage, and you talk about the mage behind, the Li Ming into that heavy of a front line, I don't think was able to shine as much as she could have, just because of how tanky it was. And the KT punishes that melee heavy front line, so I liked that matchup a lot as well, and that's kind of went with the KT.
I'm going to change gears a little bit here. I think I casted you guys once last season, and I know I watched a couple of your games. You guys have improved so much. You looked so good all this season. Now 5-0. You played just a really impressive game. What is your guys' practice schedule? How do you work as a team to improve your gameplay?
Oh, that's a good question. It's somewhat sporadic. I haven't even finished my Hero League placements yet this season. We play when we can. There's usually one night a week that everybody tries to get together, whether it's Team League or it's unranked or an actual scrim. There's a few other teams that, especially during the off season, we scrimmed a lot during the off season. And we try to get maybe one of those in a week. But yeah, we moved some players around. We definitely expanded our hero pools, each of us, substantially, which helped a lot. And yeah, it's just been turning out a lot better this season. This is the first game I was actually really nervous about, since it's against the only other undefeated team in Cherry League, and it worked out well.
Yeah, you guys really, really commanded it. How do you guys handle your shot calling? Do you have one dedicated shot caller, or do you kind of do it as a collective?
Mostly, I'm the primary shot caller, but everybody else is calling out targets, stuns, what something's happening, a rotation, because especially in the early laning phase, one person can't see everything as much as you look at the mini map, so everybody calls out missing heroes, or somebody's ultimate was used, and it works pretty well. So I guess I'm more of the overall like map strategy type stuff, and then everybody kind of calls out different targets or abilities during the hectic team fights. Oh, and my team also wants me to mention that our bottle of wine, or bottle and a half of wine during scrims, definitely helps our practice. So,
Mitchell, that's what we're doing wrong. We're not drinking in our team practice sessions.
Apparently we figured out the secret.
Yeah, play drunk. We've teased a lot that we need to do like a five-man drunk stream some night, just as an entertaining team practice. So we figure we could be entertaining at some point with that.
It's on the docket for sure. Last question for me. Divine Storm from Uther, don't see it as much. Without a dive melee assassin, I assumed you guys just went for additional lockdown. Was that the thought behind that?
Not necessarily a lockdown. We discussed it a little bit, and it was kind of just there's going to be an option at 10, and when I personally heavily favored, because Tyrael, Kerrigan, Thrall are going to dive, and we have a number of stuns and displacements. We would need to stun them out before they drop the Sanctification. We can interrupt Kerrigan's dive, so there's a combo 3 or 4 of us, since we actually went 4 melee heroes on that team. So mostly it was for the counter engage. As soon as they dive in, you pop that, and it disrupts them so much. Then you can stack the KT stun on top of it, the Blessed Shield on top of it. You can keep 3 people locked down for like 5 or 6 seconds that way. Mitchell,
that's it for me. What do you got?
Was that kind of the same mentality you guys had behind the Alarak pick as well? Is that something that P-Tom was working on? Was that something right in the middle of the draft that you said, oh, they're going mostly melee heavy, and let's get the Alarak in? It's just such a new hero. You don't see him all too much. I love that you guys picked him, but just curious the thought process there.
We actually picked the Alarak before they went melee heavy. They had just picked up the Li Ming and Malfurion. I'm a fan of Alarak personally. He's good gank. You have an option of the Kerrigan or Alarak on that map for a melee assassin. That's really good at the displacement ganks, and I really kind of wanted the silence. P-Tom is good at him. P-Tom's good at pretty much everything though. So it's hard. You can't ban him out of anything, it seems like, and he plays very, very well.
Yeah, I agree. I really, really like his kit. That's going to be it for me, though.
All right, hey, well, Dankstrom, thanks for humoring us and letting us steal your great idea.
No worries. You mind if I stay on for a second and listen to Liquid's interview?
Not at all. We're going to bring him in right now. I'm actually just sending him the Discord link.
Yeah. I'll shut up unless you guys or him have a question for me. So just want to, before you guys cut me loose too much, just shout out to everybody else on my team for their excellent play this season and all the time as well. And then Kaisel, our sub and kind of an analyst. So I think he's watching. So thank you for everybody on the team for everything that all their play. So, and if you guys do care, you can always follow me on Twitter at DinkstromHots for any sort of Cherry League casting or Heroes of the Storm stuff.
I actually followed you today.
Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
So you actually had Jova and Halloran both in lobby watching you guys. So I think there was definitely a little bit of interest in this game with the 2-4-0 records going into it, so that's fun.
Sweet, cool. Well, thanks for the interview, guys, and I'll shut up here and let you get on with Liquid.
Well, Liquid should be joining us here any moment,
I am.
Hopefully. There
I'm
he
here.
is. Hey, Liquid, how you doing?
Well, first, since you're still here, congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man.
You guys out-rotated us hard tonight.
Yeah, the wave clear was there a little bit, I think. So, I think every single one of our characters, besides Alarak, could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an excellent segue into my first question for you, Liquid. There's definitely, we were looking forward to the game, both you guys sporting 4-0 records, top of the division. You look like you're on pace to maybe get promoted into Division 2. Maybe go over your side of the draft. How did the draft go for you? Did you get what you wanted? Did you not get what you wanted? How did that go from your end?
Yes and no. I think we were actually hoping to pick up that Muradin that they banned out as our tank. I think that, and we had something in mind, and then we saw Alarak to ignore it. And I think those are the two things in the draft that probably hurt us. And we ended up picking the the Kerrigan we wanted. The Thrall and the Tyrael were last minute picks, and were not probably the right decision.
Well, I think you guys ended up, we discussed this before you got on, whenever you have a melee heavy team and you fall behind in level, it just gets so hard to engage in team fights. It's very difficult to come back melee heavy when you're down in level. You guys had what looked like about 2/3 of that game on the mid shrine, what looked like a really nice engagement, and you popped that Saint a little too early. Can you kind of take us through that fight? What happened there? Was it a miscommunication, or what happened there?
We were trying to decide if we wanted to engage there, and then our shot caller goes, "Yes, we're engaging, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm going in hard, and I'll open Sank immediately. Let's do this." And my timing was probably 4 seconds ahead of his timing at that point. If I'm guessing, right? It's one of those, we're gonna watch this replay a number of times over the next 2 days and kind of dissect it. Because there were a couple of places, even in the beginning, we rushed mid, and we were all bunched up, and KT just chewed us apart right at the very beginning too. So, yeah, there's a couple of things we want to look at.
Because the way that team fight went down, and it was probably the pivotal point in the game, if you would have had that Saint right as you guys clumped up, like 3 seconds later, it could have been so big. And we were discussing during the game, we're like, that had to have been a miscommunication there from you guys.
It was. I thought he was going one way, and we ended up, I think it may have been, in the heat of the moment, I figured it was 4 seconds, and I even commented on that. Man, if I had held that 4 more seconds, we had this. But yeah, it's probably easiest to describe that as a lack of communication, or a miscommunication is the best way to say it, because we were clearly talking, just not the same language.
So now, as you guys are, behind, the second half of the game, what are you guys discussing to try to get back in the game? Because that's a really tough thing to do, is play from behind that way.
So I'm gonna go to the point where it was 14 versus 16, because I think that probably encompasses that question the best. And the debate that was going on was, we're 2 levels down and we're a talent behind. If we soak, they get the Punisher, and they're gonna come straight in with that Punisher, and we're still gonna be at least a level down and a talent tier down. So we can't give up a Punisher. We're gonna have to take an engagement, even though all of us didn't want to take that engagement. Not taking it really didn't seem like a better option at the time. We ended up pushing in, and we soaked probably 2 groups of minions, middle and top, I think, and then we went in for another engagement, and it did not turn out so well.
Well, I think that's it for me, Mitchell. Any follow-up questions for Liquid here?
Can you walk me through the idea behind the Lee Meek pick? Is that something that Super Dave just kind of wanted? Is he super comfortable on, or is that something that you guys wanted in your draft necessarily?
So 2 reasons. One, he's super comfortable on Li Ming. Although I think tonight he would say he did not play his best game, but he's absolutely super comfortable on Li Ming. And 2, I think if I remember correctly, Dankstrom and his boys picked Li Ming at least once, if not more than once. So we figured two birds, one stone. We could deny it from the real ultimate mosh pit, and we could give Dave a character that he's super comfortable on.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
Yeah, I think that in the end, with how melee heavy and how beefy that front line was, that's really hard for Li Ming to get her resets against such a beefy team. It ended up being a not ideal pick. I mean, at the time, you certainly don't know that, but in retrospect, yeah.
No, absolutely. At the time, we were looking at just Azul, and it's like, okay, well, let's go Mouth Li Ming. That doesn't show a lot about what we're doing. We still don't know a lot about what they're playing. And we just, it was a comfort pick for a mage that he's comfortable on, so we went with that.
All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate both of you joining us. We have about 10 minutes till our next game. Feel free to hang out if you would like to. And great game, both of you guys. I anticipate seeing both of you guys in the playoffs for Division III if he does playoffs again. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys around the Nexus.
All right, thanks for casting, and good game, thanks.
Yeah, good game, Liquid, and thanks for casting us the prior week as well. And thanks to Mongoose for doing it this week. Appreciate all the casters out there. So check you guys around.
All right, so we have about 10 minutes or so till our next game, so I'm going to put a little loading screen on so I can stretch my legs for a moment, and we will be back in less than 10 minutes for our second game of the night. It will start at 7:30. Hang around, and we'll have another excellent Chair League game coming your way. Welcome back. We're here for Game 2 of our Chair League triple header. Division 2 matchup versus Red Star Missile 2-2 versus Game of Throws 1-1. Both teams are Chair League veteran teams. Last year, Red Star Missile went 6-6 in Division 2, while Game of Throws went 4-8 in Division 1 before being changed down to Division 2. Mitchell, pretty good first game we had there, man.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Both really well played by both sides.
Okay, I've got to do some little administrative stuff real quick here to get this game going. Why don't we talk about Towers of Doom quickly?
Towers of Doom. I love this map. I gotta say, when this map first came out, it was definitely not a favorite of mine. But now I absolutely love this map. It's so unique. It's such a different way of playing this game. And I really think that team comp and coordination has so much to do with being successful on this map that it's going to be really interesting to see how these two teams approach it.
I'm in the exact same boat. When this map first came out, did not like it at all. I actually strongly disliked it. But it's now one of my favorite ones. It's unique. It's, I think, the map that's most conducive to a comeback. It's just such a fun map to play.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you there have been so many games where I have been at 2 or 1 on my core and have been able to just pull out a magnificent comeback, and they just feel so great.
Yeah, they do. I've had games where I was at 1-1 on this before too. I think it was last week. Chu and Oddish were both streaming in Chair League and happened to get matched up against each other, both on this while streaming at the same time on this map. And Oddish's team made a ridiculous comeback. They were down like 25-3 in core hit points or something like that. And what was funny about it is Chu, right when the comeback started, said, "They're going to come back." Like he called it. And it was really fun to watch from both sides, and it just illustrates how this map is so comeback oriented.
What do you think you look for on drafts on this map?
Well, team fighting is obviously a big part of this map, but I think push is also underrated as well. Vikings are really good on this map as well, because Vikings are really good on any map where you have objectives that pull the teams out of the lane and they can take advantage of that soak, and that certainly qualifies on this map as well.
Yeah, the Vikings are completely overpowered on this map, in my opinion. This is one of those maps where you have to be everywhere all at once all the time, and the really big problem is the reduction to mount speed hurts just enough so that the Vikings being able to be everywhere all at once puts them in a really, really strong position.
And that comeback I just had where Oddish's team came back on Chu's team, it was the Vikings on Oddish's team that allowed that to happen.
Yeah, that's one of those late game, mid game heroes that allows you to flip a game at any point. So Red Star Missile's the first to ban for tonight, and they're going to ban out Falstad. Not surprising to see a global being banned out first. Talk about somebody who can be everywhere all at once. Falstad is definitely one of those heroes.
Yeah, for sure. And he's fallen off of this for a long time. He was first banned, first pick material. He's fallen off that a little bit because they nerfed his damage to the point, we've talked about this before, that he's just not a high damage assassin. He's kind of low medium damage level for an assassin. I mean, he offers a lot of other things with the gust and the mobility, but he's kind of fallen off that first pick, first ban material a lot.
And Malfurion going to be a ban for Game of Throws. Not surprising to see at all. Malfurion, just a really strong hero right now, just able to do a lot, able to keep his team really high. An excellent mana battery with now the cooldown reduction being popped into that as well. Kerrigan is going to be the first pickup here for Red Star Missile. What do you think about this pick?
Well, actually, I just noticed in the ban, Falstad was not banned. They actually wanted to ban Zarya. So actually, Zarya and Malfurion are banned. And now it's first pick Kerrigan for Red Star Missile. Both teams are aware of it. They were talking about it in chat. They didn't realize we'd got going already. So, update, Falstad is available. Zarya banned. And now we have Murky picked up. I wonder if that's an actual Murky or I just typed in Falstad.
No, that's actually a Malf there. If you see a little bit higher up in the chat there, Murky is Malf. They're both teams decided on that.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's update everybody. So Falstad actually banned, and then Malf available, and Zarya banned, and Kerrigan selected. Murky is actually Zarya, so it's Zarya, Leeming, Kerrigan currently selected. Try to keep up, ladies and gentlemen. It's we're in for a wild ride here today.
One more correction. I'm sorry. Okay, you were right. Falstad banned. Malfurion was the Zarya that they wanted to ban. And Murky is the Malfurion that they wanted to pick up.
Gotcha. So, so the bans are Falstad, Zarya, and the drafts are Kerrigan, Malfurion, Leeming. We got it?
Got it.
All right, and now we have Zul picked up for Red Star Missile. Excellent wave clear. He clears fast, really good at rotating between lanes. Also gives another form of CC to tack onto Kerrigan's combo there. And Rhaegar. So those were actually Zul and Rhaegar there for those keeping score at home. And now Game of Thrones on the clock for their second ban.
Rhaegar going to be the support pickup for Red Star Missile. A hero that we've seen fall off a little bit. The movement speed nerf hit him pretty hard. And also the fact that we got a really, really, really good support in the form of Oriel coming into the game at the same time kind of moved things a little bit away from Rhaegar.
Yeah, absolutely. For a long time, he was the king of the mountain for supports. Now he's kind of just another guy. He's still solid. Ancestral is really, really good. Lightning Shield is really good too. So he's still solid, but definitely fallen off with the mount speed change and the addition of Ariel.
Tyrael is going to be the ban for Game of Thrones. I think that that's a great ban. Tyrael is great on this map. There's a lot of really small areas for him to get a great sanctification in. They already have 3 melee members on the side of Red Star Missile, and you don't want to have a Tyrael backing up those melee heroes at all. It just gets too dangerous. But Red Star Missile is going to go ahead and ban the ETC. Another great hero on this map, able to turn around pretty much any team fight at the press of a button, and just a really good all-around tank, trying to squeeze out those warrior picks for both sides here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess since they hadn't selected their tank, I guess because they don't have the next selection, they just didn't want to leave ETC available. And Tyrael banned, of course, because of how well he pairs with Kerrigan as a dive buddy with the sanctification, so both good bans. Sylvanas, underrated on this map, I think. Normally Sylvanas' strengths are maps where you have some kind of objective that pushes, the Punishers, the Immortals. This map, though, if she with the push, once you take control of a fort on this map, it puts so much pressure on the other team, and Sylvanas is certainly good for that.
Sylvanas is that unaccounted for factor of push that you were talking about at first that's pretty undervalued on this map. The other thing I like about Sylvanas on this map as well is it gives your team a safe place to pursue the other team. They're going to think, oh, we can back up into our keep, for example, if we are losing a team fight, and the Sylvanas kind of throws a wrench in that, disabling structures, disabling minions, and really allows the other team to chase really, really hard. A Game of Thrones last pickup here is going to be Muradin. Solid tank all around. Good attack speed reduction so far for the Kerrigan, for the Zul, for the Rhaegar. So that's a great pick on the side of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and it's also a good pick because with their comp of Mouth, Leeming, Sylvanas, and Muradin, that gives them so much flexibility with their last pick to respond to what Red Star Missile does. They could really pick almost anything.
Almost. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another frontliner. But yeah, they can do that in the form of a bruiser, in the form of an assassin, they have a lot of choices here.
Red Star Missile ran out of double time here. Is there something I'm missing? There we go. Johanna Vala. I hope that's what they actually meant to pick. I'm going to hang out in lobby and make sure.
I'm pretty sure that's what they wanted. It seemed like maybe there's a little bit delay for the observer.
Yeah, I saw that too.
UI here.
And both of those picks do make sense. So it gives them. But once again, we have another triple melee with a single range damage dealer. Once again.
You know, if there was anybody that was going to be that single range damage dealer, it might as well be Vala. She's an extremely strong place right now to deal with a lot of the tools that they have on the side of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you know, initially after the recent big rework they did on her, it left her kind of in a lackluster spot, but the little buffs they gave her were huge. My observer, I believe, has locked. So, let's see. Okay, there we go. Now I got it. Fair enough. Yeah, mine for some reason locked up. Game of Thrones on their last pick, and they go with Kael'thas, double mage, solo tank Muradin. I wonder if that was actually the pick there. Okay, so Johanna and Vala were still the pick. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
KT is not the pick.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me either. You know, it wouldn't be a bad pick necessarily. There is a lot of melee on the side of Red Star Missile, could do well with the Living Bomb, but I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted,
Thrall.
There's a Thrall.
Yeah, I think it would have been a poor pick. Just Kerrigan jumping on Sylvanas and Leeming and Kael'thas, man, she would have had the time of her life diving all around that back line.
There is not a lot that Muradin could have done about that.
No, not even. All right, so to recap, if you're on the draft screen, Red Star Missile's draft screen is correct. They did go Kerrigan, Zool, Rhaegar, Johanna, and Vala. However, Game of Thrones is completely wrong. It's actually Malfurion, Leeming, Sylvanas, Muradin, and Thrall. So that's the teams we have going there. And Kerrigan sporting the new super slick Queen of Blades.
Queen of
skin.
Ghosts.
I'm sorry,
actually.
you're correct. I stand corrected, sir. The Queen of Ghosts skin, as well as 3 Master skins and the Centurion Johanna skin.
That's a sexy looking team, if you ask me.
It is. It is. Now, the Mount Synergy did not save unstable last game, but I still maintain it gives you a leg up in the early game if you synergize those mounts.
They've got great Skinnergy on the side of Red Star Missile, too. They're all going red, obviously, in accordance to their name.
Well, that would make sense. I'm curious if we're going to see red mounts as well.
I would hope so. Maybe they'll throw a wrench in it and go blue mounts. Who knows?
Maybe. Fire and ice, right? Red and blue?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
All right, here we go. I have just hit the start game button, and we are underway. Second game of a triple header for us tonight, Mitchell. Celebrating Jova humoring me and bumping me up to Pro Division Caster, so now I can actually pick games easily that fit my schedule so much better, because with limited availability, being able to just pick a couple games each week is really awesome. Let me tell you. This week I will cast 7 games, the most I've ever casted in a week. It just kind of happened that I had a good week for it, so the timing couldn't have been better.
Hey, that's great, man.
Yeah, especially because Halloran took the week off. It left some games for the rest of us. He's a machine, man, and he's really good, too.
Yeah, he was great. I liked watching his streamer last week.
One of these days, when he's available, I'll see if I can get him to cast one of our games, but maybe once we iron our stuff out a little bit first.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
Sure want our games broadcasted to that many people.
Not yet, anyway, right?
Exactly.
All right. On the side of Game of Thrones, we have Ralph Stew on Thrall, Cookooks on Muradin, Apple Eater on Malfurion. How would you say that? Magaguanana on Sylvanas, and Schweck on Leeming.
Mataguana, I think, something like that. On the side of Red Star Missile, we're going to have Wolf on Johanna, Tythel on Vala, Willis on Zool, Wombat on Kerrigan, and Kazmobile on Rhaegar.
And apparently, Teeth did not get the... Oh, I was going to say, I thought I saw 3 spiders in there, but nope, just 2. Didn't get the spider memo. So 5 members of Red Star Missile here in the middle, only 3 from Game of Throws, so they're being pretty fast passive. Johanna walking right in the middle of the enemy team, putting a condemn down on Li Ming, and then catching out Muradin of all people and blowing him up. Good lockdown from Red Star Missile.
The stun from Johanna followed up by the slow from Rhaegar is going to probably be another same thing that they do here. Thrall's going to be squirrely enough to get away though, but the Muradin got stunned, slowed, and then Kerrigan comboed. That's how he got picked. And it looks like Red Star Missile is going to try to keep their gank squad going because they want to be able to use that combo as much as possible.
Yeah, you know, you don't usually see Zool left in the solo lane. Usually he's part of the rotation, so that's an interesting selection. Ralph Stew showed excellent jukes on Thrall, though, to prevent himself from getting ganked on the Kerrigan combo.
It was really great map awareness on him as well. He stayed just a little bit too long, but you know, he was able to sidestep that Kerrigan combo. It was just a little bit early there for the gank. So yeah, it's odd to see a 4-man rotation here that doesn't include Zool on the side of Red Star Missile.
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe putting Vala up in the top lane, that gives you more gank potential with Zool, and he's part of the rotation. Malf gets absolutely destroyed. Red Star Missile playing very aggressive in the early game and putting Game of Throws on the back foot.
You know, it's a good thing that these early kills don't account for too much besides the death timers themselves.
And you know, maybe the morale game as well. If you keep getting picked off early game, it can definitely make you more aware of what's going on and maybe a little bit hesitant.
Yeah, especially in a competitive environment like this where everybody's so close-knit. So Alana's going to be picking up the right side tribute here. Kerrigan staying down, probably going to be delayed by the Thrall for just enough. Yep, and they're going to get the pick on Thrall there. 4 members versus 3 members here trying to delay the left side, but they're not going to be able to get to Vala in time to stall.
I think Muradin is going to get exploded again.
That stun followed up by a great, the root, from Zool followed up by a great stun and the chase on Malfurion. That's 2 more picks on the side of Red Star Missile.
Now, even though they got the 2 picks, they also won 2 of the shrines of the 3. I will say, if you're on Malfurion, the heals over time aren't as bursty as, say, Uther, so you really want to heal just a smidgen earlier, and I think our Malf there was a little bit late on his heal to Muradin. Maybe it was on cooldown, but, you know, Muradin players, you want to use your heals just a little bit earlier than the other healer, too.
This Thrall being super smart here, trying to get his body there for body soak, but trying not to put himself out there because he knows he does not want to be susceptible to the gank squad.
So far, Red Star Missile, 5 kills and hasn't died, and that's led to a 1 full level lead here, and a more passive play from Game of Throws. The early game here just seems like Red Star Missile is a little bit more on the same page, a little bit more decisive, and has a little bit more in the way of team chemistry in their decision making.
Yeah, they were really aggressive on getting the camps here as well. Getting at least part of a wall helps get that little level lead. At the same time, they're probably looking to keep their level lead as long as they can keep the soak. Sylvanas tried to start that camp up in top, but she was scared off by the Zool and the Kerrigan, no surprise, and she got pushed off, giving that camp to the side of Red Star Missile.
Now, Game of Throws does have the potential for picks too. They can set up Li Ming's Orb Missile combo with the roots from Thrall or the Lawn from Malfurion. They could do some work there too, and that's going to be how these team fights are going to turn around if Li Ming can get her resets.
It's going to take some serious coordination, but unfortunately Thrall is going to have to stay there to clean it up, and he's going to be really late on this rotation. Red Star Missile is going to try to go in here on the right side, try and keep them off of that, and they're going to be able to successfully do that. Now they're just going to retreat, walk back over to their side, and get the shrine over there as well.
You know, not only was Thrall a little bit late on the rotation, but you had Red Star Missile was all 5 all together, while Game of Throws was engaging from 2 different directions, was split as a team, and it really put them in a disadvantageous spot.
Yeah, it was hard to see that engagement going to the side of Game of Throws at all. The Red Star Missile is just playing so tight and so well together.
Absolutely. So right now we have the Red Star Missile with 36 hit points left on their core. Game of Thrones only 24. They have about a 3/4 level lead over their opponents, so things really looking good for Red Star Missile right now. However, this is Towers of Doom, where the comebacks are definitely real.
Anything can happen on this map.
So nice job by Muradin zoning out Kerrigan there.
Stun going out on there, trying to be followed up by the Li Ming, just not going to be enough damage to put her down.
Yeah, they almost got a pick there. Good choice to back out because you know that help is on the way. I do want to see Game of Thrones get to these objectives faster, be more decisive in the rotations. They're really letting Red Star Missile pick their spots in these engagements because Red Star Missile is always getting there first.
It's what I always say. Most of these objectives that pop, you need to have started rotating maybe 5 seconds before a lot of these, messages pop up. But they have been caught every single time doing something else and then needing to go to the altar. So we're gonna have one altar here in mid. This is probably gonna be our first full 5-on-5, right side and left side here meeting up in the middle. Hopefully this gets pretty exciting.
You know, this is only one shrine with Red Star Missile on the verge of 10. I think Game of Thrones just has to back up and concede. They really can't contest this.
Yep, Sylvanas knows it. She's not even going to come down. She's going to rotate back up top to try and get some soak. Li Ming, the same thing. She's staying mid to try and get some soak. And in the midst of all that, Malfurion and Muradin go down for Game of Thrones, and that's going to let Rhaegar... Nope, they're leaving that altar alone. They're going to try to see if they can get one of these keeps before they do it, but they don't feel confident enough, and they're going to go ahead and grab that altar.
They had that in the back of their mind, but once they saw everybody from Game of Thrones up and them hit 10, they just decided, let's keep this lead intact, let's go ahead and grab it. That was definitely a miscommunication by Game of Thrones. You don't want to get 2 picks there. Nobody checked the bush there, and Sylvanas is obliterated. That's now 9 kills on the side of Red Star Missile to 0 from Game of Thrones. But still only a level back.
Yeah, the gank that was meant for Li Ming actually goes down on the Sylvanas. Both of these teams are now 10, so let's go ahead and go over some ultimates. No, Muradin is going to get caught out here, stunned, slowed. He's going to jump out, get some resistance, pop his avatar, and hopefully be able to get out. The Sundering's going to go down to keep him alive just long enough. No, he's going to get sucked back in from the Kerrigan. Johanna taking all the slow from the keep here, and she's not going to be able to get Muradin, who had his health regenerate just a little bit more thanks to the third wind, and that was really well played for both sides here. Just enough for that Muradin to get away.
Yeah, that Sundering from Ralph Stew definitely saved Muradin's life. But let's go ahead and get those ultimates while we have a lull in the action. We have Ancestral Healing on Rhaegar, Maelstrom on Kerrigan, Poison Nova on Zool, Rain of Vengeance on Vala, and Blessed Shield on Johanna.
We're going to have Sundering for Thrall, a Tranquility for the Malfurion, Disintegrate on the Li Ming, Avatar for Muradin, and Wailing Arrow on Sylvanas. Pretty standard all around.
There's a 4-man Wailing Arrow for Sylvanas. It's not going to be enough. It was an excellent Wailing Arrow, though. Ralph Stew really trying to keep himself alive with self-sustain. He does fall. Game of Thrones on a full retreat. And there goes Sylvanas, who was bone prismed and destroyed, and Li Ming way late to the party. If she can get one reset, though, she might be able to make some noise, but there's the one. And now we have a 2-to-1 trade. I thought that was going to go way worse for Game of Thrones. Muradin just a hair late to stop the channeling. Zool may get caught out. There's the Kerrigan combo. Vala so low, but Muradin goes down. The Li Ming was really, really late to that engagement, and Game of Thrones was fighting a 5-on-4 for a long time.
Yeah, they also gave up the mid-shrine there. I'm not sure exactly what the communication was there. Maybe they wanted to try to get a kill. Maybe they wanted to do both delay and kill. But I could have seen all 3 members rotating up to that mid, knowing that Zool was already on bottom, to maybe try to get that one instead of giving up both of them. Now we're going to have 36 core health on the side of Red Star Missile and 12 core health on the side of Game of Thrones.
That means Game of Thrones has only won 1 altar, and it was from the first triple spawn of the game. Sylvanas goes down, caught out at the camp, and now they're going to take the camp from her. This game so far has been absolutely 100% about team synergy and being on the same page, getting to the objectives early. And that's all been set up for Red Star Missile, just setting themselves up for success. While Game of Throws, I don't think has been outplayed because all the time they're just in a situation where they're at a disadvantage. We haven't seen these teams fight on even footing.
No, I don't think we've seen a Game of Thrones synergize all of their abilities the same way that, as you just saw, the Condemn from Johanna, the follow-up Rain of Vengeance on the side of Red Star Missile. They've got some really strong hard CC on their side, and they're able to coordinate it really well.
Yeah, I would be curious to see how an even footing team fight would go on, but Red Star Missile has been so good about positioning, being first to the objectives, being all together, being ready for the team fight, and Game of Thrones just hasn't. They've kind of trickled in. Look at this. This is a perfect example. Muradin stumbles into the whole enemy team and is caught in a 4-on-1, and he's absolutely going to get destroyed. The rest of Game of Thrones is too far to help. They're kind of scattered. They just don't really seem to be on the same page.
This could be the game for Red Star Missile. We're going to see Zool followed up by 4 members of Game of Thrones trying to fight over this bottom shrine. But if they get all 3 of these, then that's game for Red Star Missile. They're going to get the top 2. That's going to bring their core down to 2. At least 1. I think, no, it's going to be 2. So Zool doesn't want to die here. He's going to not delay for his team. You know, they're going to stay alive a little bit longer. Their core-wise, it looks like all 5 members are rotating down here. Malfurion's going to go down as soon as he pops the Tranquility.
This is going to be game if they choose to take the boss right here, and that was another illustration of not being on the same page. Muradin was back. Maybe the team didn't communicate that you have all of the enemy team rotating down on you guys. You need to be careful. They might get Zool here, and they do. Ancestral is about 1 second late. Finally, they get a second kill on the side of Game of Thrones, and they are clinging to life in this game.
I think Red Star Missile probably wanted to get that bottom keep so that they could maybe even get the mid there to start hammering away at the core. Both sides are going to pick up their siege camp, and we might see Red Star Missile try to go for boss here. Muradin going to get caught out, just rotating and checking camps. The Rain of Vengeance is going to go in on the Sylvanas as well, who got caught out, and that's going to be it for Sylvanas.
You know, you just can't talk about it enough this game. The positioning of Red Star Missile has been absolutely on point, and Game of Thrones has been just not quite on the same page. I can't think, I know it sounds redundant, but I just can't think of another way to put it.
I think something that's happening is when you are down level, you need to start approaching your entire game differently than you have been the entire time. Hard checks into bushes like that, face checking, even a Muradin, obviously, as we just saw, is still going to be pick worthy just because of the lockdown that's going to be on the side of Red Star Missile.
And even right now, look at Game of Thrones is positioning for an engagement with Sylvanas back at core, only 3 members here, they're not together yet, and the great decision-making on the side of Red Star Missile to get this fort, so there is no retreat for Game of Thrones. This game is going to be decided right here.
It's going to be a great Poison Nova going out there affecting 3 members of Game of Thrones. Li Ming, Sylvanas trying to get a kill on Kerrigan. Muradin just trying to get out alive. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well,
at the same time, Zool just went ahead and grabbed that, and there goes the final 3 shots needed.
Well, that was a dominant showing by Red Star Missile. They controlled that game cover to cover. Really good demonstration of shot calling, team synergy, positioning, the whole 9. It was definitely a clinic. Game of Thrones didn't quite, I keep saying this, I feel like I'm being redundant, but they were just never on the same page. Their synergy wasn't there. And that game was pretty one-sided, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, it's not often you see full-on stomps like that, unless, of course, you're us. But that was really well commanded on the side of Red Star Missile. They had everything ready to go, stacked up. They knew their game. It seemed like they knew their game plan right from the get-go. They had really smart calls, for example, being aggressive on mercenary camps, being aggressive on getting keeps, which means extra shots on the core. I mean, it really was just a commanding performance from Red Star Missile.
Yeah, and for Game of Thrones, we lost even harder than you guys did yesterday, so we feel you. One thing that I've seen work really, really well together, and I was wondering, since the Malfurion rework and his new position at the top of the Heroes meta, you're seeing a lot more Twilight Dream, almost more than Tranquility, or at least I feel like I am. And the double silence with those two, if you can get those together, maybe makes a little difference if you get that going earlier in the game.
Oh, absolutely. I think, what's better to follow up on a silence than another silence? That would have really put a damper on a lot of the tools that are on the side of Red Star Missile. Relying on the Sylvanas Wailing Arrow to engage can work really, really well. Like we kept talking about, it just wasn't in the cards for them because they just couldn't get their team positioning together enough to get any sort of an advantageous team fight for them. They kept getting picked, they kept coming in scattered or late, and so they the Wailing Arrow is a great engagement, but they just weren't able to capitalize.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think you can look at this game and say whether the individual ability of the players was superior or one than the other, because the team synergy from Red Star Missile was so overwhelming to the team synergy of Game of Thrones. I don't even think you can make an accurate assessment of the players involved.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know that it was on the players individually on the side of Game of Thrones. It's just their team synergy. And of course, this being a team-based game, individuals can be great, but once the team falls apart, that's where everything starts to kind of unravel. And no matter how good anybody is on that one team, if they're not all synchronizing, then it's just not going to matter.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. All right, I will. We are going to get Teethel in here from Red Star Missile for a post-game interview. So the winning side here, we'll get them in here and have a little chat with them, get their perspective on what just happened. Anything surprise you about the ultimates or anything? I think the double silence is what would have surprised me. I kind of half expected the double silence with those two on the same team.
For Vala, the only thing that's really surprising me that I'm seeing a lot pretty often is the Arsenal pickup at 7, which is the grenades that come in for her W to get a little bit more DPS on that, rather than the auto attack talent that's at 7, or even the Death Dealer, which is the increased damage to the vault. Damage bonus that's already there. I saw Jailers as well on the side of Red Star Missile for the Zool. Just that little bit of extra DPS that you get off of the root from Zool. Nice to clean off some things. That's probably where some of that extra DPS for a Murden gank, for example, came out. Kerrigan's got a pretty standard combo here. Let's see. Nothing else that really pops out to me as odd. Li Ming taking mostly the orb build to try and get that delay as well. Surprising to see, Unstable Poison come out for Sylvanas. Usually I like the cooldown reduction for the W at 4 on heroes, and then at 7 I like to see the increased attack damage against non-hero targets, which would have helped her really well for the siege camps and for the boss as well.
Yeah, that's usually my choice at 7 too. It gives her so much more ability to clear waves faster, because without it, she's kind of average in the speed in which she can clear lanes. With it, she can clear it much faster. And we actually have the other team in chat here, and he said takes Jailers for the bonus heals in lane. Yeah, that Jailer synergizes really well. When you raise skeletons, you heal. So every time you jail somebody, you get the heals for it. Those two talents synergize really, really well together.
Yeah, I usually like the mana, the Tragul's Essence at 4 for Zool. I get the synergy there. But I really like being able to stay in lane more often than not, being able to pretty much just self-sustain at any given lane pretty much any time I want to. But I do like that synergy there for the jailers, as well as the extra DPS really matters a lot there.
Yeah, actually, the Willis's build on Zool here is pretty much what one, you can go Shade or Backlash, but other than that, is pretty much the build I use for Zool, too. I really like that Skeleton build for the extra push, and then the Vulnerable on the Bone Prism. We are waiting on Teethel. Hopefully when he gets in here, he can tell me how to pronounce that.
Yeah, correct that.
Correct my
pronunciation
terrible pronunciation of that game. And we do have about 30 minutes to kill before our 8:30 game. So we'll definitely be able to over-dissect this game a lot, because it really is not a whole too much to digest.
On the Malfurion, we're still seeing the regrowth talents picked up for him, except for the cleanse at 7, which is a little bit surprising to me because they have buffed the regrowth so much. One of the things that a lot of people are doing is using the Moonfire build, actually, increasing that damage, increasing the range on it, keeping the reveal on it going for longer, instead of picking some of the regrowth talents just because it's already so good.
Yeah, I don't play Malf enough. I really got to start because I can play pretty much all the healers, and before the rework, Malf just wasn't in the meta at all, so I didn't play him, But I really got to get into him. Of course, as soon as I get competent on him, they're going to nerf him.
Yeah, of course, that's always the problem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just like my problem today, I really wanted to buy Leoric, but I kind of felt like they might reduce the price soon, but, I went ahead and did it anyways.
Alright, so I just resent the Discord link. I don't think he got the first one, so we've sent it out, and hopefully he will be joining us in a minute. Let's go ahead and switch screens here, though.
There we go.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations. Pretty dominating win for you guys.
Thank you.
We were talking both during the game and after. It seemed to be the difference in that game is we kind of felt like we couldn't even evaluate the talent level of the individual players in the game because your guys' team synergy was so much more on point than there was. They seemed so much more scattered. You guys were always in advantageous positions. You rotated to the objectives faster. How long you guys been playing together, and how did you develop such good team synergy?
Two of our players usually play together, Casmobile and Wombat, so they are always in sync, and they definitely had comfort picks, and me and Wolf play a lot together, and so I guess our play styles really correlate with each other, and we listen to call-outs, and so, we were just able to adhere to all that, and it just worked out really well.
Second question, maybe the most important one. How do you pronounce your gamer tag?
Teethel.
Teethel. I was trying, and I knew I killed it.
No, everybody does. Don't worry about it.
Talk about the draft. Did you guys get what you wanted? Did you kind of wing it, or how did it go?
We knew what we wanted, and then halfway through we knew it wouldn't work because we would have had 5 melee, and we were like, man, we really need some range DPS.
Yeah.
But we knew we wanted Kerrigan because I was kind of analyzing them, the Game of Throws, and noticed that they kind of had some problems with dive comps. So I knew we wanted Kerrigan, but that's about as far as my thought process went. And then we just kind of winged it from there. We were back and forth on the last 3 picks. We knew we wanted Zool, but other than that, we just kind of played it by ear for the last ones. We wanted Murden, but they took it, so.
Worked out for you guys because you picked Murden, not an easy thing to do a number of times that game.
Yeah.
Because they did seem to be a little scattered in it, and it really helped you guys take advantage of it. This is my second chair league team, and I think the hardest thing to develop as you group together is that synergy we talked about earlier and cohesive shot calling. How do you guys do both in team fighting shot calling and strategic shot calling in your own games?
Well, we don't really have a designated shot caller. Usually the person that engages, which was usually Kerrigan, was able to, safely engage and shot call for us. And I think he might, I don't know, he's been playing for quite a long time, so he was able to point us in the right direction, just be like, all right, this camp's coming up in 1 second, and we need to take this right now while we're right next to it. When I saw it was, not taken, he was just, it's also good that, he has a cool head. So not somebody that's panicky or urgent. So that also really helps out sometimes. And we also had that momentum. So we were able to, play the map like we wanted to.
We've done a couple of these post-game interviews. I think they're a lot of fun. I stole it from Denkstrom, which was fun because we got to do it to him last game. We just casted his game.
Yeah.
And I've asked that to a number of teams, and there doesn't seem to be any one consensus as to kind of the best route to do it. I think it's team to team. We have some teams that say, no, man, this guy shot calls and he does it great. He says it and we go. And then we have some teams that have kind of said what you just, yeah, we all kind of do it and whatever. And it clearly worked for you guys because you were all on the same page.
Yeah, I just think we just have really similar ideas on what we do at the beginning of the game is we're like, all right, this is how we're going to play the game. We're going to put Zul top, we're going to rotate mid bot, and we're just going to get picks like that. And then all right, the Kerrigan who can initiate, go and pull and stun, be like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. We're like, all right, and we follow up. I mean, if he wasn't Kerrigan, he probably wouldn't have shot called, If I was the tank, I usually like shot calling. I usually like the tank to shot call, but we were just able to synergize really well with that.
So you guys have assigned roles on your team, or you just kind of put people on who they're comfortable with as the draft comes up?
Sort of. Kaz is usually the healer. He's Rhaegar's definitely his most favorite. He's really good on that. And we kind of have the rest flex. Willis is a really good specialist, and he really likes Zul, but Wombat, me, and Wolf, we can really, between the three of us, play any other hero. So that also helped out because the last two picks we didn't know what we were gonna do. I was gonna tank, but then it switched out the last 10 seconds. Be like, oh, they took Murden. We need to switch this up.
So last question, where are you guys going? You trying to get up into Division 1, or are you just coming out here playing heroes and having a good time?
So far, it's the latter. I met Wolf mid last season and subbed for one of his games, and then I've been playing with him ever since. And so he and I have been just kind of heading up this Division 2, and I'm having a blast. I wouldn't mind going further and further, but I mean, it's going to take a lot of work,
Yeah, man.
It was awesome.
The first team I played with, we just happened to get 5 randos, and we just got super lucky, and we gelled. No one had ever played with anybody else. We gelled really well. We got into Division 1. We went 500, but we were a pretty good team, and we played some pretty good teams. We got to the quarterfinals of the Divergent tournament one time, and then we just got a couple guys get on Heroes Burnout. So Mitchell and I, my co-caster who's been quiet this whole time, started a team, man, and it's a whole nother game because one, my last team had 2 Masters levels players, and we don't. We're all gold, so we're whatever. But it's been a little bit of a awakening for me because my first team came together so easily, and the second team it's a whole nother thing, and we're still having a blast because Chair League and Heroes is fun. But it's one of the reasons I ask these questions is I like to kind of see the journeys the other team takes to get to where they're at.
Right.
Well, that's it for me. Mitchell, anything from you, buddy?
I don't got anything. I wasn't being quiet. I was creating space for this magnificent interview to take place.
See, that's our co-caster synergy that we started working on, was not talking over each other, you see? So that's our synergy we were working on.
You guys did a very good job by not doing that.
All right, man. Well, thanks for letting us cast. A great game, pretty dominant showing. Now 3-2 this season. So if we ever decide to win a game in Division 2, maybe we'll stumble across each other and match.
All right. We'll try to make it go easy on you.
Please do.
I appreciate that.
So we do have another game coming up at 8:30, so feel free to hang out for that one. It is a Division 3 game, Lit Soul Silver versus MMR Hell. We're going to have that up here in about 15 minutes. I'm going to put the loading screen on so I can feed my cats so you guys don't hear them in the background of the next game. And we'll be back here ready to go in about 10 minutes. Congratulations on the win.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, we are back live for Game 3 of our triple setter header. Say hello to my brother Troy in the background. Okay, thanks, brother. We Okay, sorry about that. Just trying to get Lit Soul Silver going here. MMR Hell is here and ready to go. Once again, we get the opportunity to cast on Infernal Shrines. I think one of my favorite games to cast on. Why don't you break it down for us again, Mitchell?
Oh, break down Infernal Shrines? Sure. I love this map as well. There's just a lot going on. The bosses that everybody gets periodically come in the middle of the map, either top, mid, or bottom. There are a lot of camps in this map as well, so that there's a lot of things happening on a shrine phase, off of a shrine phase. It's a pretty exciting time. A lot of popular picks we see on this map. Zool for the split pushing potential. The shrines take people out of lanes, and so if you can have somebody like Azul who's got amazing wave clear, rotate between two lanes and soak up that XP, can give one team a big heavy level advantage over the other. Sylvanas is a very heavily prioritized hero on this map as well. She enables a push with a Punisher better than probably anybody else in the game, I would say. Just because she can disable those structures, even if a Punisher gets baited over the wall, well, the wall can still be disabled, allowing an easier time for it to go down for that team. We usually see pretty heavy AoE characters picked on this map as well. Jaina's, Kate, your Kael'thas's, stuff like that.
Kerrigan, probably her best map because she could basically solo clear a shrine if given enough time.
Yeah, same with Sonya as well. She
Yep.
can pretty much solo a camp if given enough leeway.
So lots of different strategic options on this map, which is why it's my favorite. There's just so many different things that you can do, and none of them are wrong necessarily. There's just lots of different options available for teams to do to get to the objective and finish off the enemy's core.
A little fun fact for tonight. The other week we casted a game for a team called Lit Leaf Green. Well, tonight we're casting a game for a team called Lit Soul Silver. So I'm not sure if Lit is maybe a gaming, big team or if they're just some big organization out there. Regardless, their team names are coming from Pokemon games. So Leaf Green was a Pokemon game, Soul Silver was a Pokemon game. So I wonder if we're going to see any more of those this season in Chair League.
Interesting. I didn't know about the Pokemon thing, but I can tell you Lit is like a gaming community.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
There
Two
you go.
sides of the coin make the whole picture.
All right, now we all have it all rounded up, ready to go. So we have Knight here from Lit Soul Silver is trying to round up his troops. One of them, it sounds like, having issues with the internet. So hopefully the interweb cooperates and we get a team going, or a game going here. Would hate to lose our triple header here tonight.
Yeah, that'd be a little unfortunate. Luckily, everybody's here early. They
Yep.
follow the rule. Early is on time is late. I really like that.
Yep.
And so we've got plenty of time to wait here through some of the technical difficulties.
We do, and you know what was fun today, Mitchell? Watching a Murky fish slap a Diablo.
That was fantastic. That was probably my favorite thing of the trailer. I love that they open with that shot too. There's that slow-mo fish slap, and he just looks like he's so happy to be slapping Diablo in the face with that fish. That was just so great.
When I got home today, I was going to screen cap that, but somebody's already done it on Reddit. And on the stream right now, you see that picture, Heroes of the Storm. It's got a Nubarak, an Arthas, and Nazebo. I'm pretty sure that picture is going to get replaced with Murky fish slapping Diablo because it's
It better
freaking
get
awesome.
replaced. Yeah, that needs to be the image for Heroes of the Storm in all of their marketing from now on. Hey, you want to come in and beat Murky and slap Diablo in the face with a fish? Come do it in Heroes of the Storm.
And have fun doing it. And you watched the gameplay videos you said. Did you watch the 5 hammers versus 5 hammers?
I only watched the 5 thralls versus the 5 thralls. That's the only one of the gameplay videos I watched.
You gotta watch the 5 hammers versus 5 hammers, man. That was just stupid. That was so funny.
That's got to be frustrating for everybody involved too.
Yep. You know, I did notice, I watched 2 of them. I watched the first one that they showed, and the first one that they showed, nobody picked, or the only talent that was picked was the ultimate, and they picked it right away. And then in the 5-on-5 hammer game, it looked like it was just Towers of Doom, and everybody was picking the regular builds. It just happened to be 5 hammers versus 5 hammers, which leads me to believe that we're going to have all kinds of different possibilities in the upcoming Brawler mode.
Yeah, I mean there are so many different things that you can do in the environment that they've set up there. Actually, I think my most exciting thing that I read today was the fact that they are actually going to be listening to community feedback, not only on the modes that have come so far, but they're going to be perusing those forums and things for ideas of what to bring in next. So you could possibly see somebody who has a really great idea on Reddit or on the Blizz forums and have that be a featured brawl in like a few weeks afterwards. And I think that's really, really fun too.
You know, I don't know if you read the GameSpot article on it.
Yeah,
but
that's where I took that.
did you read the 5-on-5 Nova mode?
Yes, that sounds amazing.
Where the snipe shot's always a one-shot kill?
Yeah, I mean, that just sounds like so much fun. Who doesn't want to do that? It sounds awful, but that also sounds like a lot of fun.
What they're going for just sounds like such a nice palette cleanse for heroes. You know, sometimes you're like, yeah, I kind of want to play, but quick match is such a cluster, and you don't know what's going to happen. But now you can just, you know what, I'm just going to step in here, and I'm going to shoot some people and have some fun, and there's no pressure or try-hardiness into it. It's just going to go in there and whatever happens, you know.
Yeah, it's nice to have kind of a wind down mode, you know, at the end of a really long streak of games. I'm not necessarily tired enough to stop playing, but I'm also not necessarily awake enough to keep going on a ranked or an unranked even, for example. So being able to have a mindless almost kind of mode to jump into, I think appeals to a lot of people. And if they can come up with some interesting brawls that are fun enough, I think it's really going to attract a lot of people, you know, away from some of the normal queues as well.
And if you want the proper way to play heroes drunk, that's also the way to do it.
That should be a requirement one of these days.
Right.
Of course, that's super irresponsible on the side of Blizzard, but if they could somehow make a self-imposed rule for it, that would be
self-imposed
just
drunk
fantastic. Exactly, yeah. Make this week's brawl extra fun by having a 5th first.
I really am so curious what's going to happen at BlizzCon, because usually you kind of have radio silence from them, and they're like announcing heroes, a new one on Thursday, and the brawler mode, and they're doing all these huge patches, and you know they have something under their hat for BlizzCon.
They've got to have some ace that they're willing to pull out that's just going to stump everybody. I thought that was going to be their arena mode. And you know, actually, when you think about it, they may have not wanted to go a second BlizzCon in a row, not having this arena mode out there. So maybe it was a little bit of a penance to pay to their fans, to the people who are really dedicated, because we've known that this is coming for almost 2 years now, and they probably don't want to have that happen again. So maybe that's why. Maybe they do have something crazy in line there. I know that they said they have another quote-unquote game-changing hero coming out, but it can't just be
my guess is the
one.
Overmind. That's my shot in the dark.
It can't just be one either. It can't just be one hero that they're announcing. I know last year they did, you know, they did their game-changing Cho'Gall, but they also announced 2 other heroes at the same
Lunara
time.
and Greymane.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I can't wait. I just can't wait to see what they come out with.
Yeah, I'm wondering, are we finally going to see clans? Because they've said that was on their radar for a long time, and it's been very quiet. Are we going to see a clan system finally?
I hope so much. If there's one thing that this game needs above an arena mode is absolutely a clan system, a group finder system. You know, I know you haven't played it as a point of reference, but the group finder that is in World of Warcraft is a great example of a dynamic queue that you can go into that just allows you to find people to play with. In that, you're usually in a dungeon finder or you're in a raid finder, something like that. But it could work the same for this in that you get either pair it up with people of similar skill, or you can select your preferences for roles, and you can move into other people's teams where they're missing those roles. You can select your play style and be matched up with people of the same play style, for example, stuff like that. Even if they did just a generic, hey, we're just going to have a social portal in the game so that you can browse and search and add people, stuff like that. In a traditional clan system, that would be fine as well. But they need to have something. They need to be able to encourage people to play Team League more. And if the rumors are true, if that happens, we're probably going to see Hero League drop down to solo queue only, and then have Team League move up into the 2, 3, 4, 5 queue as well.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see.
The other thing I want to see is, I don't know if you remember, Team League in its original iteration was that you actually had a team name and roster in the game. And I want to bring that back. I don't think you necessarily need to have it, but how cool would it be to have Hodor projected when we play Team League?
I mean, that would be fantastic.
Or Lit Soul Silver or MMR Hell put it in, putting in Team League when you play. That would be awesome. So I would like to see that. You could have like a roster in game of say eight or 9 people, and if 5 of them are on, you can use your team name. You could even put some kind of logo or something. That would be awesome. I would love to see something like that too.
Yeah, some little extra flair that could come out just for your team. Something personalized even. They could have it so that you can make your own emblems, or you can make your own little splash logos or something like that. The possibilities for something like that are pretty much endless. I just, I hope to see it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, me too. I mean, there's really so many things they can do with this. We have an accident on the freeway stalling and stuff for some of our viewers. Our ETA for getting started is 10 minutes. If MMR Hell chooses to hang out for that, then we'll definitely get a game in here. We're still under the, what's the word I'm looking for? The late allowance. Why am I blanking? The
cutoff time.
Yeah, whatever. There's a word
time.
for it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But we're still under that by a few minutes, so they do have a couple minutes.
The deadline.
Yeah. You have 10 minutes to get here. The grace period. That's what I was looking for. We're still under the grace period by a couple minutes. I lost my train of thought. I had another thing I would like to see them do in addition to the... just like StarCraft has a built-in mechanic for tournaments. That would be fun too. You could even do it like, Friday night built-in tournament, but only gold players can play. So that way you're not matched with these grandmaster teams and tournaments and just getting stomped on.
Yeah, it would. I think it would make Team League that much more appealing.
Yeah, you have Team League, and like an automated tournament that they have similar to StarCraft would be so much fun.
Maybe they can get their in-game drafting sorted out at the same time, and maybe we could start seeing some in-game drafts of some of these major tournaments.
Even before everything we're saying, that has to be number one. It's pretty silly that the esports scene uses third-party drafting sites still for the professional tournaments. And with their announcement that Blizzard is handling it in-house now, you would think that that's coming soon, right?
I would hope so.
And in Team League, speaking of, at least in Team League, they have to do swapping of picks.
Yeah, they have talked about possibly the possibility of doing that as well. It's something you can do in other MOBAs.
Yep.
It's one of those things where it sounds great on paper, adds another layer of
now I understand
toxicity to things.
I understand not doing it in Hero League. I'm only saying in Team League because you should know the people you're in there with, right? Or have some kind of connection with them. You're playing with them. You're grouped together. I'm talking only in Team League. They need to have player swaps.
That's fair. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I understand the Hero League, the reluctance to do it because of toxicity, but in Team League, there's no reason not to. Well, we had an excellent game number 1 today, and we had kind of a quick game number 2. The teams we have here, we'll go over them briefly, my little background information. Lit Soul Silver is 2-2 so far this season. It's their second season in Chair League. Last season they were in Division 3 and went 3-9, so they're definitely on pace to improve over last season's record. MMR Hell has been around since Season 1. Season 1 was a little different. They didn't have divisions back then, so they went 1-5 in the giant ladder that was Season 1 Chair League. Placed in Division 3, went 6-6 last year in Division 3, or last season in Division 3, now sitting at 1-1. So both teams at 500, both teams looking to get over the hump and into the winning record. Oh, we have movement, Mitchell. We have a fourth member on Lit Soul Silver, and I assume the fifth is shortly following because supposedly they were in the same car.
We are past the cutoff time.
We are, like we were yesterday. MMR
Right.
Hell is being good sports. They want to get a game in. Like that's why we play the game, is to get a
Okay.
game in. Oops.
Okay.
We lost a guy. What happened there?
I wonder if that was the guy we were actually waiting for.
Maybe. Well, now we're back down to 3, and then there were 3 on Lit Soul Silver.
It's kind of up to MMR Hell's discretion.
It
here,
is,
I
yep.
guess.
I think you and I are cool hanging out a little bit, chit-chatting about heroes, but we are past the grace period, so MMR Hell could choose to call it if they wanted to. So if they decide to make that decision, that's absolutely within their right to do so. But until they say anything other to the contrary, we're going to keep on keeping on. Lit Soul Silver does have 3 people currently on the roster ready for this game, so they do need a 4th. So, Mitchell, how long before Zarya and Malf get their knobs turned down a little bit?
Malf has got to be in the next patch. Zarya had some rapid fire adjustments made to her. I don't know if they are going to want to take some time off because of that. I don't know if they're going to say, let's go ahead, we have enough data and we can do it this time anyways, right in the next patch. So I'm not sure. I think people just didn't really figure out how to play around Zarya yet. I think it's people are starting to figure it out a little bit more now. And for Malf, I think he just needs to be tuned down. As much as I liked to see the cooldown reduction being built into Innervate, I'm not sure it needs to stay. I think in the long run we might see that moved out, just because it's really, really, really powerful for some of these assassins with long cooldown times, like Jaina or Li Ming with her orbs. It's just so versatile for so many heroes that I think they just kind of wanted to move him back into the limelight for now, and it might be one of the features that they strip out from him. Kind of like what they did with Rhaegar. They boosted him really, really, really high. He was really amazing for a really long time, and they said, okay, fine. He had his spot in the limelight. Let's slowly start to bring him back down, so that we can have a little bit more of an even keel for healers.
Well, if they choose to do that, then his trait becomes one of the weaker ones in the game. Don't you think you got to give him something instead if you're going to take that away?
No, being a mana battery with a 10-second cooldown reduction level 1 talent is good enough on its own. It's never been a bad trait to begin with. A lot of times people just don't really pay attention to it, or if you're like me, you just forget that you have it all the time, and it becomes kind of a second thought to everything else that you're doing. But at the same time, his healing got so buffed that he's still going to be crazy viable.
Well,
Having a long heal on a 5-second cooldown at only 30 mana is still a really great heal. It's not burst mitigation, but it is the ability to pop everybody up for a team fight that's right about to happen. And how many times have you and I been into a game where we just said, "Oh, I gotta go home," and the tribute spawns or the shrine pops up, and we're that much more late because we had to go back. And that's in those situations where Mouth really shines right now.
Yeah, I forgot. I had a train of thought that I was going with there, and I totally forgot what it was because I was sending out draft links in the meantime. So the teams have decided that while we're waiting for our fourth and pick players, we're going to go ahead and do the draft. So I'm going to get that screen going. We will have a draft, and hopefully at the end of the said draft, Litsoul Silver will have their fourth and fifth members, and we will be ready to get our last game of the evening in.
Let's do it so that we can actually go play some heroes.
Yes, sir. Sounds good to me. Oh, by the way, I won my promo game last night.
Oh, congratulations. So you're
Yeah.
finally up to gold 3 now?
Yeah, so now I'm back up to below where I was last season, even though I went 5-5 in placement matches. I'm not bitter.
That's okay. It happens.
I actually won 3
Were
straight,
you
then lost 2 straight. And okay, I'm gonna go on a little rant. I've had this discussion with you. I am so opposed to the promotion and demotion matches, and this is a perfect example of why. So I played 5 straight hero games last night, right? I started on a promotion game. I won 3 in a row and then lost 2. That's fine. However, if I would have done it in a different order, if I would have won 1, then lost 2, and then won 2, I would have been right back to that promotion game, even though I had a winning record in that session.
Yeah, that's kind of why I hate that system. I really hate it only in between tiers. If it was in between levels. If they kept it in between tiers, that's appropriate. But because it's in between levels, it just doesn't. It's too grindy. And like the system that they had in the preseason was the same way, where you could just kind of freely move up and down.
As it should be.
Yeah, as it should be. You should be able to move in between gold 1 and gold 5 as you are, and the system will essentially settle that out eventually.
Right.
Where you should be either the upper echelon of that or the bottom echelon of that tier, but only in between those tiers should it take that extra step of a promotion game to get you to the next level.
And I get that. I don't even think it should be then. You get enough points, you move up. You lose enough points, you move down. It's easy peasy. It takes away some of the grindiness levels. But we are in draft. We are going Litsoul Silver, first ban Kael'thas on Infernal Shrines. MMR responded with their ban of Malfurion. Litsoul Silver first drafted Li Ming. MMR Hell has taken Muradin, and now on their second pick.
First pick Li Ming on the side of Litsoul Silver. Okay, I guess they really want her.
Now, she's a solid hero. This one isn't one of her best maps. The first pick, Muradin, is a little bit different as well. One of the things about Chair League, especially when you get into Division 3, is the teams are less locked in, I think, to watching the professional meta and maybe what you would consider the optimal picks for each map. So I think you see kind of different things, some stuff that's a little more creative because they're not as locked into the meta.
You know, powerful heroes like Li Ming get prioritization just because they're powerful, right? I mean, her trait's fantastic, and she does a lot of things really well. So it's not surprising to see, in general, just a little bit odd. But, Johanna and Zool are going to be picked up by Litsoul Silver here. 2 really, really, really great picks for this map, as we saw earlier this evening.
I was just going to say the same thing. So far, Litsoul Silver's draft is very similar to the draft that Trump had and won the game with. Zool and Johanna's wave clear put so much pressure on the opposing team. And MMR Hell has Muradin, who's not particularly great at wave clear. Rhaegar is a good wave clearing support. And in particular, on Infernal Shrines, if you take the level 1 talent that allows you to cast 2 lightning shields, he can clear fairly quickly. So having a good wave clearing support will help them. But they definitely need to improve in that category to help keep up with Johanna and Zool on the side of Litsoul Silver. Now, MMR Hell discussing their second ban. They are into their team pool, and they have decided to ban Brightwing. Not a bad ban. Her global allows her to go all over the map on Infernal Shrines, which is a large map. And of course, since they already have their support, it helps choke out that role for Lit Soul Silver.
Yeah, that's not a bad ban for them. It might be a targeted ban as well if maybe they've done their homework a little bit. But at the same time, Brightwing and Zool both represent kind of people who can split push a little bit, or split soak at least, and then show up to a shrine or an objective later and still be impactful. Illidan is going to be the ban out here for Lit Soul Silver. Not surprising to see an Illidan ban with the Rhaegar on the other side. You just talked about the double lightning shield, and the double lightning shield goes especially well with somebody like Illidan, who could just kind of zip around all over the place and get a lot of value out of that lightning shield.
Hey, thanks, Professor Kazuki. We really appreciate the kind words. Follow me on Twitch, or either one of us on Twitter. I'll message you guys the link from the last game, so I'll include my BNet on there. You can add me on Battle.net that way. Yeah, the Illidan ban is good because any of the self-sustaining heroes like Illidan or Sonya can really do well, or Kerrigan can really do well on the shrines, and the lightning shield on Illidan would certainly help that. So even though Illidan not quite as common in the meta as he used to be, he's still a solid hero. And I've said this earlier today, this is Kerrigan's best map. She can clear the shrines basically single-handedly. And Jaina, good damage, good slows. The cooldown on Blizzard is a little bit high for using it to clear the shrines. I think that's not efficient, but the Blizzard is excellent at zoning in the areas where the enemy has to come in to contest the shrines, and that's where I think you get your value out of your Blizzard.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, she's able to kind of put blockades in the way in the form of the Blizzard there. To give that a little bit more time, it slows as well. That could be followed up by a Rhaegar slow and a Murdered stun. All the while, you have Kerrigan just hopefully using a Ravage build, just jumping around that shrine and picking up creeps left and right. Uther is going to be picked up and followed up by the Thrall. Not a bad front line, if you ask me, for that Leaming to hide behind.
Yeah, normally Uther, you want to pick him with the Divine Shield for a divey melee assassin, but in this comp, they're using it for the stuns. You have Johanna stuns, you have the Zool root, you have the Uther stun, you have the Thrall root, and remember, Trump did the same thing with Uther, and they picked Divine Storm against the Kerrigan for one more stun, and it gave them so much lockdown. This comp is very similar in execution to what we saw Trump run so well in Game 1.
I mean, the thing especially with that Divine Storm is the staggering of the CC can be used to incredible efficiency, especially when you have somebody like a Johanna already there, and double roots from Thrall and Zool. I mean, it's looking a little bit scary there on the side of Lit Soul Silver. MMR Hell's last pick is going to be Sonya. Another beautiful pickup here in terms of an Infernal Shrine focused pick. Another hero that can stay back and hopefully be zoned for her team to be able to get in there and pretty much solo one of those shrines. So I really like both of these comps here. It's going to really come down to who executes their team more decisively. I wouldn't put better out there because both of these teams have pretty much anything that they want to do on this map. Either one of these teams can accomplish it.
Yeah,
if Soul Silver uses the Zool to the effectiveness to get the level lead, it's probably going to start to lean in their way. We saw the level lead difference, what it can do to a Johanna, and how hard it is to bring somebody like that down at a certain point. So we're just going to have to see what it looks like here for both of these teams.
In looking at these drafts, I see two different strategies. You have Lit Soul Silver is looking for wave clear, early split push pressure with the Zool and the Johanna, because MMR Hell's damage on the shrine, holding the shrine, clearing the shrine is superior if the teams are at equal level. So I think what Lit Soul Silver's path to victory is that double split soak by Zool, getting a little bit of a level lead and then winning shrines after the first one, winning Shrine 2 and Shrine 3 and Shrine 4 after having a level lead. On the other hand, you want MMR Hell. They want to use Sonya and Kerrigan and the Rhaegar double Lightning Shield to clear those shrines fast and not allow that Split Soak to get a level advantage.
I think the only thing here, at least in terms of the early game, Soul Silver has a great gank squad if they can pull it off correctly. A lot of their
definitely.
damage is focused on the Li Ming, but double roots hold those targets in spot for those missiles, for the orbs really, really well. But you're right. I mean, MMR Hell went for a really shrine-focused map here, and maybe they're hoping that they can finish off a shrine before Azul Split Soak even makes a difference, which would be really smart on the side of MMR Hell. I mean, if they can finish a shrine really, really fast, it makes that Split Soak not as valuable for Soul Silver. At the same time, if you catch it in the right rhythm and Zul's at bottom when the Punisher just gets popped at top, you might even be looking at a first a fort out of a first Punisher. Could MMR Hell get it? So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach these shrines in terms of speed of capture and trying to capitalize on the team that they built.
I just had another observation. It just dawned on me a second ago. Did Sylvanas get through this entire draft on Infernal Shrines?
She is nowhere to be found. I wonder if that's a little bit endemic of Division III, or if it's just they wanted to kind of concentrate on those shrines just a little bit more. Sylvanas is a great enabler, but as we saw, if earlier this evening, if they can't get the Punisher, it almost doesn't matter. So Sylvanas is great on her own right, and she is a great hero to pick up. If you don't have anybody that's like a really, really above average Sylvanas on your team, then it almost becomes a hindrance on your team composition than it does a benefit to you. So seeing them pick up the like the last pick Sonya, for example, instead of a Sylvanas, it makes a lot of sense, I think.
Well, what I was going to say is I think Sonya and Kerrigan, they serve the same function on the team. This is the shrine clear, and those shrines only spawn so fast, so you can only clear them so fast. I think you're going to have a little bit of overlap there. So I almost wanted to see a Sylv in place of a Sonya there. If you're focusing on the shrines, I mean, you can only clear those things so fast because they just only spawn so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dangstrom, who just said in the chat too that Sylvie could have been put in place of Thrall as well.
That's true too.
On the side of Soul Silver.
For sure.
I mean, that would have been a great pickup for them because you already have a really beefy front line there.
Well, and Thrall's strength is that solo laning, and they already have good wave clear and good pressure from JoJo and Zul. Sylvanas would have slotted in there really nicely.
Yeah, I agree. And they already had the split push there from Zul, so maybe they maybe didn't want to double up on specialists. It's a common theme.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a theme, because you can double up on specialists, no doubt. And Sylvanas is she's basically an assassin who just happens to have a gimmick, because she does, kind of medium-level assassin damage when played properly.
Yeah, she can put out some serious numbers. I mean, her trait is well off and good enough, but if she can, especially that her Q, if she can really focus all of those attacks, and she can really do a lot of damage to a single target.
Yes.
And her Wailing Arrow is just so good for an engagement, especially when you have a semi-dive team like you have on MMR, on the side of MMR Hell. They go in, waste some cooldowns, get silenced, they can't get out, it's done for them. So, it's interesting that you don't see it here, especially on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves when you go into Solo Hero League is no double support or no double specialist. You're like, as long as you have a tank and a healer and usually a primary range damage dealer, you can fill in the rest of them how you want. 2 supports are perfectly viable. 2 specialists are perfectly viable. 2 tanks are perfectly viable. It's not about getting the right numbers of the right roles. It's about finding the heroes that fit well together with the maps that you're fighting on against the enemy composition.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it all comes down to being able to execute properly anyways. a lot of the times people are scared of these double picks just because they can't envision that the rest of their team possibly knows what they're doing, and God forbid we all come together and coalesce into something more than ourselves. But these in a competitive environment like this, it's a lot easier to go double tank, double healer, all this kind of stuff. And you know me, double tank is like one of my favorite comps in the entire game.
Yeah, for sure. It reminded me of the little MMR Hell stream I'm doing on my brother's account where I was last pick and the 4th pick was showing Brightwing, and I'm like, I feel like Lily is the right pick here, but I didn't want Brightwing to change to another healer. So I showed Vala until they picked Brightwing and then switched to Lily, and the whole team flamed me. And it was Lily MVP with no deaths, highest heals, highest damage. And it's just that level of lack of faith in your teammates. It's weird that I had to play stupid mind games with my own teammates to get the ideal comp for that game,
Yeah, it's you usually play draft mind games against the other team, not your own
Not your own team. I'm going to show Vala so you don't change off of Brightwing, and then I'm going to pick Lily after all.
I mean, Lily's just great too. I mean, she can just do so much.
When you remembered you were watching that stream, the whole reason I did that is my team is going to be silly, and we're talking about not having faith in your teammates, which is the whole reason I picked Lily. My team is going to be silly, and they're going to keep fighting under Gazlo's turrets. And then what happened? They kept being silly, and they kept fighting under Gazlo's turrets. But they didn't die because there was a Lily back there throwing cups all over the place and keeping everybody alive. That Lily pick was the reason that game was won. Yeah, Professor Kazuki has it right. Sylvanas does really good damage, and that's why when you show her and they're like, no double specialist, you're like, she's basically an assassin. She's an assassin with a gimmick. She's an assassin who can shut down fortifications. She does assassin damage.
And she can chase just like nobody's business too. I mean,
For sure.
the E-Talent at 13, which gets you the double. I always forget what it's called, but the double kind of dash there.
It's like Wave Runner or something like that, or
something
Wind
like
Runner,
that.
something like that.
Yeah, it's probably that because that's her name.
Yeah.
That
Wave
just
Runner wouldn't
allows
make
you
any sense.
to really put the hurt on somebody so badly. You can just like zoom in on them, get a really good damage, zoom out, and you're perfectly safe.
Yeah, I had one of the things that I think is valuable is learning from your opposition. On my Smurf account that's in high plat right now, I was playing a game as a Zagara, and as a Zagara, I'm used to just bullying whoever's in the lane with me because that's what Zagara does. But the other team had a Sylvanas down there, man, and she was so good. She was kicking my butt. But just from getting my butt kicked by that Sylvanas, that one game made me a better Sylvanas player because I learned so much getting slapped around by the other team's Sylvanas. All right,
There's
it looks
no
like...
better teacher than absolute defeat.
Absolutely true. All right, we finally have a full team. We are raring to go here. And as soon as both squads are ready up, we will get this show on the road.
All right. More like we were taking their time finding other players.
Yeah, they got caught in traffic dinks. Apparently there was an accident. And MMR Hell, being the wonderful gentlemen and scholars that they are, have stuck around because they want to get a game in just like we do. All right, I have hit the start game button. Better late than never, but we are on point. It's a good thing, I initially had another game scheduled for 9. It's a good thing that fell through.
Yeah, I guess so. You almost hate to have games fall away from you, but in this case it worked out really well.
Yeah, that's one of the disadvantages if you schedule as a caster back-to-back half-hour games. I don't do it very much, but if you have one game run late or something like this, it's like, sorry guys, and
that game now has to go without a caster, and that
right.
sucks.
And if it would have happened, I wouldn't have made the 9 o'clock team, lose their
Right.
caster. It would have
Yeah.
unfortunately been these guys, but luckily that didn't happen. We are here. Our Adamocles? Yes, absolutely. But we are here. The last game of our triple header. and probably one of the last chair league games going on tonight. Okay, on the side of the ever-patient and very accommodating MMR Hell, we have Red Conscript on Kerrigan, Zemexican on Muradin, Jackster on Sonya, B Mills on Jaina, and Blue Nichols on Rhaegar.
Okay. On the side of Lit Soul Silver, we're going to have Knight on Zool, Fex on Li Ming, the Matthias on Thrall, the Bunny on Uther, and Bobsky on Johanna.
Alright, looks like both teams are gearing up for the 5-on-5 esports skirmish here in mid lane.
All
And
with
I
the
think
exception of Uther, it looks like. It's just going to be a little bit late in the game.
he's having a ham sandwich. Thrall gets absolutely obliterated with the Jaina damage dropped on top of the Kerrigan combo. Absolutely exploded. Before that happened, I was just going to say I like Lit Soul Silver's comp a little bit more in the little skirmish here in the mid lane, but what do I know? Holy cow.
I did like their mid game or early game skirmish a little bit better, but those that CC stack, man, we're seeing it tonight. It's kind of been a little bit of a new meta that's kind of taken around here. Ooh,
Zool is going to be in
get
trouble.
rotated upon right now. There goes the slow, there goes the combo, there goes another slow in the form of Jaina, and
Yeah.
a butt bite from the Rhaegar to finish him off.
I mean, Zool's biggest weakness is no escape and lack of mobility. You can't be that far forward with no vision on the enemy team. Johanna, on the other hand, can.
Johanna can be pretty much anywhere she wants to be.
You know, since the Jaina rework with her triple wave of Blizzard, if you can get your teammates to lock somebody down in one spot, that Blizzard does so much damage. So if Kerrigan and Jaina can get on the same page here, the Blizzard onto the Kerrigan combo, that's going to do work.
Not only does it do a lot of damage, I mean, it's just good to keep somebody out of an area right there. You saw Zool just kind of stop because all of a sudden there was, you know, a blizzard right in front of his face, and either way he was going to die, yes, but, you know, that creates a sense of urgency in the other person that they don't want to enter this zone of damage.
You know, and that as well as it's actually a good response to the wave clear advantage that we said Lit Soul Silver has. Jaina can clear and rotate very well because of her triple blizzard now can one-shot a wave.
Because we're going to see all 5 members of both teams come up here to this shrine at top. You're not going to see the Zool split soak here. That's common. They probably just want to get some picks like they had in the early game, and maybe get the shrine faster than MMR Hell can.
Yeah, that's certainly an unusual strategic decision when you have Zool on shrines. You always see him double soaking 2 lanes, but they've decided instead to go 5-on-5 for the shrine here, and you know, their early shrines with the death timer so low, the deaths aren't nearly as important, but what you can take from this first shrine is maybe how the rest of the shrines will go.
Yeah, this usually sets the rhythm for how the other shrines are going to play out.
Interesting 5-on-5 team fight, because it was actually like a 2-on-2 and then a 3-on-3.
It's going to end up in Thrall going down. Sonya almost went down to the backlash from the Zool. He's going to be able to get away as well. So, yeah, a little bit of a skirmish there in little groups as people filter in and out of this shrine here.
Because Sonya had to hearth back, though, this is still a 4-on-4. She's on the way. She'll beat Thrall here, but not a decisive advantage despite the kill for MMR Hell.
They're going to try to at least be able to get that gap that the deficit that they started with closed off here. And they're pretty even on both of these shrines. We're going to see all 5 members again from both teams here engaging. Bobsky going out, trying to get a pick.
You know, if Lit Soul Silver opted to 5-on-5 this shrine, I really want to see Johanna with that internal retaliation because it helps so much with the shrine wave clear. But Lit Soul Silver in trouble here. Zool has already died. Johanna will get away. Uther, I don't think will. Well,
Ooh, that's going to be a great combo from the Kerrigan there, setting up the bite from Rhaegar to finish off the Thrall. That was a fantastic follow-up on the rest of her team.
Yeah, so far, Lit Soul Silver has not been able to deal with the Kerrigan combo. It has really been the decisive factor so far is that combo setting up kills for her teammates, 5-1 in favor of MMR Hell.
looks like we're gonna have 32 creep, a 10 creep difference here for both of these teams. It's a little surprising to me that we don't see Sonya going for the Hurricane there at 4 to get out of some of these slows and roots, but it apparently doesn't matter because they have the confidence to be able to take down that other side of the team and secure themselves not only the Punisher, but a level lead at the same time.
Yeah, 3 members of Lit Soul Silver down. I really like the decision to send Sonya down, get double soak out of this while also pushing with the Punisher. If you saw in the middle of that team fight, once again, it was the Blizzard dropped on top of the Kerrigan combo, destroyed Zool, and that was what started that 3-for-0 team fight win.
That's going to be really dangerous come the rest of this game. If MMR Hell can keep this level lead that they have, this is going to look pretty a hard comeback on the side of Soul Silver.
Yeah, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Uther. I brought up the talents because Uther needs to pick Cleanse at 7, and he did. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Uther. And with this comp, I suggested the Divine Storm, like Trump ran it earlier today, with all of the roots that they have. But if they cannot respond to the Kerrigan combo, they might need to take Divine Shield almost as a second expensive Cleanse.
Yeah, it makes sense to keep somebody alive just that much longer, but MMR Hell being very decisive, being very aggressive, going over to the side of Soul Silver, stealing their siege camp. Kerrigan's probably going to want to start that one on their side, which there she goes for it. Zool, I think, is just trying to keep up his soak as much as possible. Maybe he's going to try to push out these lanes here as well to try and make up some of the difference.
And it looks like they're going to try to rotate and pick Zool off again. Once again, he's too far. This time, Knight sniffed it out. Nice job. Got out safely. He saw some people disappear off the minimap and got out of there.
Kerrigan again going to pick up the bottom siege camp here, and you hate to see all 3 siege camps go to one side or the other. I just think Soul Silver wanted to play the catch-up game a little bit, and they needed to sort out their level difference before they did anything too crazy and committed too hard to any one thing.
Yeah, but they may have cut off their ear, despite their face there. They did catch up and level a little bit, but now they have to respond to all the merc camps instead of going to the shrines, and they can't report to the shrines anyway with MMR Hell getting their ultis and Lit Soul Silver still sitting at level 9. So we have Avatar for Muradin, Ancestral Healing for Rhaegar, Maelstrom for Kerrigan, Wrath of the Berserker for Sonya, and Ring of Frost for Jaina. And that was not an ideal decision. Lit Soul Silver still fighting despite the fact that they don't have their ultimates, and in the middle of all of that, Uther went down.
Yeah, that was a disadvantaged fight for sure. So
this is not a good decision for Lit Soul Silver. That's 5-on-4 without ultimates. They need to split up, go soak some lanes, and get to 10.
At the very least, they need to clear the lane that's right in front of them. Even right above them, on your way down, you can always soak something as well. It's really hard for them to fight at a disadvantage like that when they're down ultimates. But we finally see the 10 coming out for here. We're gonna have Blessed Shield come out for Johanna, Sundering going out for Thrall, Disintegrate on the Li Ming, Poison Nova on Zool, and Uther's gonna go ahead and pick up Divine Shield.
So they tried to invade, but a little bit too late. Now we have 3 members in trouble. Uther gets caught in the Kerrigan combo and then blizzarded to death. Li Ming getting good damage numbers done, but Thrall gets jumped on by John Cena and obliterated. 2 members down for Lit Soul Silver. They are on the retreat. MMR Hell, full advantage here, and they are going to take another fort.
Yeah, I mean, you called it that. That Kerrigan combo with a Blizzard on top of it is making me think that we should run that a little bit, because that is a really, really powerful killing tool.
Well, we know DK likes his Jaina, and you can certainly play Kerrigan. We'll give it a shot. Excellent Ring of Frost, catching 2 members. Li Ming and Zool both dying to the Ring of Frost and then jumped on by the Punisher. And once again, Lit Soul Silver in full retreat, and they're going to lose a keep wall.
Brian, I don't know if you noticed this, but Sonya was up top dealing with
Soul Silver's top fort that entire time. As soon as the Punisher came out, she said, peace, I gotta go deal with something else. And now we see a 3-level lead on the side of MMR Hell because they were able to split soak and get a really important structure out of it as well.
That's really good shot calling by MMR Hell, because when that Punisher spawned, there were 2 members of Lit Soul Silver's dead there. You know, I said after the draft that Kerrigan and Sonya are a little bit redundant. Maybe they realized that too and realized only one of them needed to be there with the push. They can let Sonya go do other things.
And Sonya is a really, really versatile hero in that way. She can bully heroes really well, but she can also push lanes really well. Oh, that Li Ming just gets caught out, and Sonya was able to pretty much solo her.
Well, that's why Li Ming should not face check pushes. There's the Kerrigan combo into the Blizzard again. That one nets them a Zool kill. Excellent sundering, splitting MMR Hell in half and allowing Kerrigan to be killed. Finally, Lit Soul Silver showing a little bit of life here with an excellent sunder by the Matthias on Thrall. They almost got Sonya out of the deal too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that was a great play on the side of Soul Silver, and it's unfortunate to watch. Unfortunately, as important as that pick was for them, setting up not only a good, you know, some level lead or some experience, and the death timer on Kerrigan, they have other stuff to deal with right now, and it's going to make it really hard. They can't even make it anywhere else other than these lanes to try to clear, to try to soak, and make up this level difference that they put themselves in.
Now, Sonya is a little far forward. If she stays there, that's a pick opportunity for Lit Soul Silver. She did back, good call to back up. She was a little far forward. Now, MMR Hell has 2 lanes with Merc Camps pushing, and Lit Soul Silver is going to be late because Johanna is still in the top lane. At least they will get a little bit of push. But, you know, MMR Hell is not going to care about those top lane Mercs because they're so far back right now.
I don't think it really makes a difference to them. They have the whole front line of forts that can take care of that, and it's not going to put a hindrance on their gameplay right now.
Kerrigan taking a lot of damage from Li Ming. And there's the Ring of Frost catching 3 members. Sundering doing excellent damage again. Kerrigan very low, goes down to Li Ming. Uther and Zool both get drafted as well. Li Ming getting her resets, doing a ton of damage, but it's just not quite enough. The level advantage from MMR Hell being the decisive factor here. Li Ming is doing a lot of damage. Look at how low those red health bars are. She will get away. Well played by Fex. Tower diving, oh man. Now Jaina and Muradin are under the towers taking damage. Li Ming trying to hit the well and poke. Well played by Fex, and now Bobski too far forward on Johanna and caught out. That team fight, even though it was a 4-for-1, was, oh no. After all that hard work Li Ming did to stay alive, and she eats a Jaina Blizzard. That team fight was decisive for MMR Hell, but it was closer than it looked.
You know, that is one of those things where the level difference really made the difference in that match, in that matchup right there. If they were closer to even levels, it would have been a lot more even of a fight for Soul Silver. Unfortunately, they just were down and they couldn't do a lot. At the same time, the Johanna decided to split off a little bit more. A, she decided to chase the Kerrigan, and then B, she decided to stick around and try to get as many creeps as possible instead of retreating and trying to be closer to her teammates so that she could peel for them.
Yeah, you know, some tanks can be aggressive like that in pursuit, like a Muradin can do it, but that's just not in Johanna's wheelhouse. She really wants to be in front of her team. She's just the master of being this like immovable object in front of her team. So if you take her out of that role, it really puts her at a disadvantage.
And the level difference too is one of those things where, because they are down levels, it turns that Johanna from a really, really strong front line into kind of a weak front line.
Yeah, well, it's like we said earlier, when you have a heavy melee comp and you're down in level, it's really hard to fight it. The same can be said when you're tanking. When you're down in level, the tanking becomes much, much harder, even someone as beefy as Johanna.
MMR Hell making one of my favorite calls of all time, just baiting out the rotation here from Soul Silver. Kerrigan combo going to go down on 3 people, followed up by the R here. Sundering going to split them up, but not going to be enough. The level difference is just going to make this entire fight. Li Ming is actually going to be able to go in there, get a kill on Jaina, hopefully get out with her resets, but Zool's still going to go down, and it looks like Uther's next to go.
You know, that wasn't just the level difference. I don't know if you saw it. They opened with the Kerrigan combo and then the Jaina. Jaina took Northern Exposure, giving vulnerable on her E, and she hit 3 members of Lit Soul Silver with a vulnerable right as that fight started.
That's gotta hurt.
So, I mean, when you take that into account, Lit Soul Silver actually did okay as a response to that, getting jumped like that. But anytime you're getting triple vulnerable with a Kerrigan Maelstrom on top of you, you're going to lose that battle.
A little bit of counterplay here from Soul Silver, but a Kerrigan combo is just going to do so much work for them.
Just Lit Soul Silver has had no answer for Kerrigan. Red Conscript on Kerrigan is just absolutely putting on a clinic. Much easier to do it as a melee assassin up 4 levels, but even still, the level of play has been impressive.
Yeah, he's absolutely running this game. And you know what? MMR Hell says, let's do this right now. They're trying to go for core. They're trying to get kills, trying to keep people off, trying to hammer this core down. They're not even concentrating on the shrine. The body blocks going out from Murd into Bach that Uther from getting home. And this is going to be game for MMR Hell.
Dominant performance for MMR Hell, especially Red Conscript on Kerrigan. You know, it looks like it was all him, but his team enabled him really well. And B-Mills was spot on so many times with the Blizzard follow-up to the Kerrigan combo. And that was at least 3 kills that I saw in that game, was a Blizzard right on top of the Kerrigan combo.
Yeah, that synergy worked out really, really well for MMR Hell. Having Sonya at their disposal as well, just this kind of really great all-around hero to split push, to be able to clear lanes, to be able to clear the shrine. Just a fantastic showing from MMR Hell. They played that really, really smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth the wait there on their end. They really played really well, and you know, I think both of us probably slightly favored Lit Soul Silver's draft, probably because we saw Trump run a very similar comp so effectively earlier today, but the level of execution just wasn't there at that level.
Right. You're exactly right. We were pretty biased from our earlier experience this evening, but I don't think that they were able to nab that level lead that they wanted. You know, pulling Zool out of lane that early is a great move if you want to be able to secure the shrine, but really what you're trying to do at that point is delay the shrine as much as possible to allow that Zool to split soak as much as possible to get a level lead in the first place.
Hey, we have the Mexican here from MMR Hell. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And I'm sure both us and the other team appreciate your guys' patience there for our little delay there going, but worth the wait for you guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So let's talk about the draft. What was your strategy going in, and did you get what you wanted, or did you have to adjust as it went down?
We have a pretty strong Li Ming carry on our team, so that wasn't ideal. We did try to choke the support, so thank you for picking up on that. And that was kind of one of our main ideas right now, because Melf is so strong, especially on a map that wave clear is so ideal in shrine control, and Melf can do everything these days. So we needed to get rid of that so we can empower us. We tried something new this week with a dive base comp. So yeah, I guess we got pretty much what we want with Kerrigan, Sonya, Murden. So, you know,
we before, as the draft ended, the other team, Lit Soul Silver, ran a comp very similar. This is our 3rd game casting tonight, and it was the first game ran a very similar comp to them and just ran with it. So we were kind of concerned that if they ran it to the same level of execution, it ran it really well. They had a lot of lockdown. We were worried you guys might get picked. Was that in your head at all? Because it certainly didn't seem like it. You guys just came out the gate, Kerrigan diving in there, blizzards on top of the combo. I mean, really putting your abilities together really well.
Yeah, I think they could have had a lot scarier comp if they went like the non-meta alt choices. I thought I heard you talking about that during the draft. Like if they went Falling Sword and the other one's escaping me, but Divine Shield or Divine Storm. If they went that, then you're right. That's super scary. But I mean, we beat them to 10, and then
ran
from
with
then
it
on, we weren't
there.
really worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that first game I was talking about where Trump ran a very similar comp to what Soul Silver did, that was the stun Divine Storm, and the other team had a Kerrigan, and he said that's exactly why they picked it, was for that reason, was to respond to the Kerrigan. So I was thinking they might do that as well. So you guys this is your third season in Chair League. There's not too many teams that have managed to make it 3 seasons in Chair League. Pretty much the same core group?
No, actually, we've had quite a few roster changes. The 3 main people are probably me, Brooklyn Bum, who wasn't able to make it today. He's on East Coast, so it was even later for him.
Right.
And B Mills. Us 3 have been around from the start, and then we got some new blood in this season, and I think it's going really well.
Yeah, you guys look good. Red Conscript, a great pickup because he was really played a dominant Kerrigan today. I mean, you guys really enabled him, and playing a melee assassin up 4 levels is certainly easier than playing it even, but that doesn't mean you can take away from how he played because he was really spot on with all those combos.
Yeah, without his engage, I think we would have been kind of lost in the water, so that was really nice. And like you said, the consistency on the combos was ideal. If he even missed a couple of them, I don't think it would have been as dominant. I mean, Lit, Soul Silver, like they did fine, like they didn't do anything wrong. I just think we chained our CC probably better than them, and that's what we based our comp on eventually. That wasn't the first ideal, but once we were like, hey, if we combo, we're good to go, then that's what we did, and I think we accomplished it pretty well.
Mitchell, you got a question for the Mexican here?
No, I agree. I think you guys were able to really capitalize on those combos. I think you're spot on in the fact that if she had missed even 1 or 2 of those, a lot of those engagements could have gone the complete other way. No real questions or anything from me. Actually, I do have one because Brian didn't bring it up tonight. Shot calling. How do you guys handle shot calling on your team? Is it one of those things where one person handles the macro and the other person handles team battles and calling out targets? Or it seemed to me kind of like you guys were just kind of following up on what Kerrigan wanted to do tonight.
It depends on the week, honestly. This week, usually I run more the macro of it, and then the start of the engages. It's really weird how that works. Like I call it the first pick normally, but this week it's pretty late over here, so I'm pretty tired. So I was like, Red, you do like what you need to do, and then I'll call like camps and like rotations that we need, and then those combos. Like he was like, hey, this person's gonna die. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna dive in there right next to you and make sure they're stunned. So.
Yeah, and whoever was on your Jaina was really on point with those Blizzard follow-ups. There was at least 3 kills that you guys had that was specifically the combo with the Blizzard on top of it, and you just melted them so fast.
Yeah, B-Mills can really... he's been clutch on our team since day one. He's turned so many fights for us. Like you probably saw, first and second season, we didn't necessarily do as hot as we would have liked. So shout out to him. He carries us like when we're struggling. So I think those Blizzard follow-ups were completely ideal.
So where do you guys go from here? What's the goal for MMR Hell? Do you want to get up into Division 2 and 1? You just coming in here and enjoying some Chair League? Where do you guys see yourselves?
Well, Season 2, we went on like a 5-game win streak and then like a 6-game lose streak. So we went from leading Division 3 to barely making playoffs. So I think for us, it would be great to move up. But in reality, we're just a bunch of people that just want to play some HOTS.
Fair enough. Well, guys, dominant performance, and once again, thank you all for your patience. You know, a lot of I have probably a similar mindset that you guys have, which is we're here, we want to play. Like, let's get it going. But not all teams are patient like that, so I'm sure the other team appreciated it. And us here as casters ready to go we appreciated your patience waiting for the other team to round up the troops. So great game, fellas. And, hit us up on Twitch or Twitter. Follow us if you want us to cast a game. Certainly, hit me up. We love doing it. And congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Thanks for the cast as well, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the end of our triple header. We have been at it since 6:30, Mitchell, and it is now 9:30. So quite a night of casting for us.
3 hours of some really good heroes, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of had some games that ran the gamut from really close to not so close. 2 Trine games and the Towers of Doom game. I think you will not be with me here tomorrow, right? I'm flying solo tomorrow.
Tomorrow night's my hard night, yeah, so that's going to be it for me. I'm not going to be able to be here tomorrow night.
So I will be here tomorrow night. I have 3 games that I'm casting tomorrow. This will be the most games I've ever casted in a week, so join me on the marathon. I have a 5:30 game, a 6 o'clock game, and a 7 o'clock game. So come join the Chair League action tomorrow. And of course, on Friday, Mitchell, I know you won't miss this one. We have a Pro Division game, 6 o'clock. Team Blaze, led by Oddish. They have pro aspirations, came fairly close to qualifying for NA Regionals, versus the Chair League champions of Pro Division last year, Brawls Deep, the team that has yet to lose a match in Chair League. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would not miss that for anything.
So we will be here Friday at 6 o'clock for that game. Should be a lot of fun. I will also be here tomorrow for a few games. So thanks everybody for hanging out. Like I said, follow me Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. Check it all out. And for the players that are in the lobby, I will send all of the team captains' YouTube links. I do upload the games to YouTube, so that way they're never lost on Twitter. You can enjoy your moments of glory for all of eternity, as long as they're on YouTube. Mitchell, it was fun, man.
Yeah, it was a great night. Really, really good games.
Congratulations to Trump, Red Star Missile, and MMR Hell on their wins today. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and I hope to see you tomorrow for 3 more games of Chair League action. Have a good night.